Chapter 1281. Yu Shang had thought that Yun Sheng would be shocked when she revealed her 7 tails. Unexpectedly, Yun Sheng did not even bat an eyelid. She brushed past Yu Shang, leaving Yu Shang standing there in a daze. That woman dared to ignore her. Yu Shang ground her teeth in anger. Yun Sheng, just you wait. Dearest master, has that old witch turned into a 7-tailed beast too? Bobo and little Ying were waiting for Yun Sheng outside the Celestial Fox Palace. As soon as she saw Yun Sheng, Bobo ran up to her. Although Bobo had turned into a human, her habits were no different from when she was in her sheep form. When she saw Yun Sheng, she could not stop herself from snuggling into Yun Sheng's arms. However, she soon realized that she could no longer snuggle into her dearest master's arms and act coquettishly like before. Bobo could only use her chubby hands to hug Yun Sheng's arm and refuse to let go. Yes, but her 7-tailed beast appearance is a little strange. Yun Sheng's 5 senses were sharp. She noticed that although Yu Shang had turned into a 7-tailed beast, her aura had become very murky. That aura was somewhat similar to Qin Yu's from before. No matter how many tails she turns into, she's no match for dearest master. On our trip to the south, we'll make that old witch piss her pants in defeat. Bobo looked like a cute little girl, but the words that came out of her mouth were not cute at all. Boss Peng Yu is ready. The 3 of us can head to the south together when the time comes. However, before we depart, I have to see someone. The person Yun Sheng wanted to see was Lu Yunshuang. Yun Sheng had previously promised that as long as she became the Saintess of Celestial Fox, she would help Lu Yunshuang change her physique. Although she had not become the Saintess yet, Lu Yunshuang had indeed helped her a lot along the way. Yun Sheng arrived at the inn where Lu Yunshuang and the others were staying. Lu Yunshuang's injuries were almost healed. After this experience, Lu Yunshuang might not have been able to obtain Celestial Fox's inheritance, but her feelings for her human lover had deepened. This was a significant gain for Lu Yunshuang. Honorable Saintess, thank you so much this time. As soon as Yun Sheng arrived at the inn, the people who were saved by Yun Sheng surrounded her. The status of these humans in the Celestial Fox tribal nation was very low. If it were not for Yun Sheng, they would have been sacrificed in the enthronement ceremony of the Celestial Fox Saintess. Everyone, I'm not the Saintess yet. Yun Sheng was still unable to cope with such a situation. You are the Celestial Fox Saintess in our hearts. We can only survive in the Celestial Fox tribal nation with a benevolent Saintess like you. Honorable Saintess, you must become the Saintess. The humans were full of hope and looked at Yun Sheng with earnest eyes. Yun Sheng, they're right. Becoming the Celestial Fox Saintess and helping the human race and half-beast people reverse this oppressive fate is everyone's common hope. Lu Yunshuang stepped forward with her human lover beside her. Yun Sheng still wanted to say something, but at this moment, she felt the statue of faith in her arms heating up. After Yun Sheng obtained the statue of faith, she did not know how to use it. This was the first time the statue of faith had acted strangely. Her heart skipped a beat, and she took out the statue of faith. Nearly 100 light spots burrowed into the statue of faith like fireflies. What's this? Yun Sheng was slightly startled. This must be the statue of faith. Don't worry, those light spots just now are the power of faith. The power of faith is the hope of humans. We all hope that you can defeat Yu Shang. Those light spots just now are the trust and respect everyone has for you, Lu Yunshuang explained. The power of faith was a very magical power. After ascending the throne, the Celestial Fox Saintess would tour the major capitals of the Tianhu tribal nation. In addition to gaining the support of the people, another function was to establish a faith in the hearts of the people. The stronger the power of faith, the greater the influence of the Saintess. I, Yun Sheng, hereby swear that I will do everything in my power to help everyone fulfill your wishes. Yun Sheng held the slightly hot statue of faith and looked at the people around her, solemnly making the promise. Long live the Saintess! The humans cheered. Listening to the cheers of the people, Yun Sheng felt a vigorous power surging through her veins. This was the first time Yun Sheng felt the power of faith. It was also the first time she felt the importance of the celestial fox saintess in the hearts of the people. Perhaps this was the real reason why Hu Sheng had asked her to come to the Eight Desolates continent. I'm here today to help you solve the problem of your constitution before we head north. Yun Sheng's words delighted Lu Yunshuang and her human lover. Yun Sheng had promised Lu Yunshuang long ago that she would help her change her constitution. However, Yun Sheng had never helped anyone change their constitution before, so she did not know where to start. Recently, when she was studying Celestial Fox's inheritance in the Ancient Seal, she unexpectedly came up with a solution. Lu Yunshuang's constitution was ice-cold. If she wanted to restrain her constitution, she could only use karmic fire. Yun Sheng decided to combine the power of the Divine Needle of Healing to force a portion of the lotus fire of karmic fire into Lu Yunshuang's body. I'll insert dark needles into several major acupoints in your body. The dark needles will not affect your normal life. Also, I've already refined a type of pill. You'll have to take it once a month for the next 3 years. Also, you can't get pregnant while you're taking the pill. This way, the Ice Fox constitution of you and your future descendants will be completely changed. With that, Yun Sheng performed the acupuncture on Lu Yunshuang. Half a day later, Yun Sheng had already inserted 18 dark needles into Lu Yunshuang's body. When she touched her lover with a trembling hand, she felt his warmth for the first time. At that moment, Lu Yunshuang and her lover both cried tears of joy. That's great. I can finally live like a normal person. Thank you, Yun Sheng. You're the benefactor of me and the Ice Fox tribe. Besides Lu Yunshuang, there were many people in the Ice Fox tribe who, like Lu Yunshuang, had been affected by the Ice Fox constitution for many years. Yun Sheng promised Lu Yunshuang that if she had the chance in the future, she would go to the Ice Fox tribe to treat the constitution of the tribesmen. It's time for me to leave. Boss Peng Yu, Baby Bo, and the others are waiting for me. Yun Sheng bid farewell to Lu Yunshuang. Yun Sheng, where is your destination on this trip to the north? Lu Yunshuang only knew that Yun Sheng and Yu Shang were going to compete. She did not know where exactly Yun Sheng was heading to. Although the Celestial Fox tribal nation was the weakest tribal nation among the Bakra orcs, it was vast and spanned hundreds of thousands of miles from the north to the south. I've taken a look. We're heading to the northernmost capital of the Celestial Fox tribal nation. It's Yudu. Yun Sheng looked at the map and suddenly realized that the place she was heading to was Yu Shang's hometown, Yudu. Chapter 1282. Yudu, it was actually Yudu. I didn't notice it earlier, but I didn't expect to go to Yu Shang's base camp. Yun Sheng looked at the 2 words on the map. However, Yu Shang isn't the real Yu Shang, so even if she goes to Yudu, it shouldn't affect her. Yu Shang wasn't the real Yu Shang, so she probably wouldn't have much influence in Yudu. Yun Sheng, you're oversimplifying things. Don't forget that Great Witch Doctor and Yu Shang are in cahoots, and Great Witch Doctor was the one who drew the lots. Although Yudu isn't Yu Shang's base camp, it's the northernmost and poorest capital city among all the Celestial Fox cities. The people there are also unruly. If you want to go there to collect the power of faith, you can imagine how difficult it will be. Lu Yunshuang looked anxious. The best way to collect the power of faith was to go directly to the local Celestial Fox temple and worship the statue there for 7 days and 7 nights to absorb the power of faith of the local people. If a place was rich, the Celestial Fox temple would be prosperous, and it would be more convenient to collect the power of faith. However, in a place like Yudu, it was difficult to even survive. The local people didn't have the time to worship Celestial Fox temple, let alone collect the power of faith and incense. I'll take it one step at a time. I'll go take a look at the place first and ask about Yu Shang and Great Witch Doctor. Yun Sheng had always had doubts about Yu Shang's resurrection, so this trip to Yudu was a good opportunity to find out more. Yun Sheng had already asked around. Yu Shang's hometown was a small Yudu city called Wasity. It would take about 5 to 6 days to travel from Wasity to Yudu by air. After bidding farewell, Yun Sheng, Boss Rock Feather, Bobo Sheep, and Ying Ying headed to Wasity. With Boss Rock Feather, who had transformed into a golden-backed giant rock, Yun Sheng, Bobo, and the others' journey became much more convenient. After flying for about 5 to 6 days, the 4 of them finally arrived at Wasity. Wasity belonged to Yudu and Yudu was one of the 10 great capitals in the country of the Celestial Fox tribe. However, compared to Tsangdu and Hudu that Yunsheng had passed by earlier, the closer they got to Yudu world, the more dilapidated the local scenery and cities became. Since the Celestial Fox Sanus competition was not officially announced to the public, the local residents were unaware of the arrival of Yunsheng and the others. Master, Wu City is up ahead. Yunsheng and the rest, as well as Boss Pengyu, all transformed into their human forms. Wu City looked very desolate. Even the city walls were piled up with yellow soil. There were no guards at the city gates. Only a plaque with the words Wu City hung on it. Let's enter the city first. We haven't had a good rest in the past few days. Let's have a meal first, and then ask around to see if we can find out anything about Yusheng. Yunsheng looked at the tired faces of Bo and Little Ying. She knew that the two girls were too tired from the continuous journey. After wandering around Wu City, they found a restaurant that could barely be considered a restaurant. According to the local residents, this was already the best place to eat in Wu City. The restaurant was very desolate, and there were only a few tables of customers sitting in 2s and 3s. The 4 of them ordered wine and dishes, and just as they were waiting for the dishes to be served. Wait! Boss Pengyu cautiously stopped a few of them. He took out 4 sets of bowls and chopsticks from his storage belt and distributed them to everyone. Big Bird, don't tell me you have misophobia. You even brought your own utensils when you're outside. Bo was the smallest among all of them, but other than her own master, she had the tone of, I'm the big sister to everyone else. Boss Pengyu was also used to it. Bo, don't be unreasonable. Boss Pengyu, is there something wrong with this restaurant? Yunsheng said as she looked around. She saw the restaurant's shopkeeper and waiter were secretly sizing them up. Sure enough, there was something wrong. Master, in terms of ability, I can't compare to you. However, when it comes to traveling, I'm much more experienced than you. Whether there's a problem with the restaurant or not, that's different from person to person. Boss Pengyu laughed. He had been a wanted criminal for so many years and learned the habit of being careful. This restaurant is a gray restaurant. Gray restaurant? I've heard of a black restaurant, but I've never heard of a gray restaurant. Yunsheng was baffled. The so-called gray restaurant, frankly speaking, is also a black restaurant. But compared to a black restaurant, a gray restaurant's ability to harm people depends on the person. If we're like hotheads today and pick up the utensils here to eat, tonight, something will definitely happen. But if the people in the restaurant find out that we're also veterans, tonight will be safe and sound. Boss Pengyu's words made the other 3 suddenly realize. It seems at this time, bringing Boss Pengyu out was the right choice. Not long later, the shopkeeper came over and personally delivered a table of sumptuous food and wine to the few of them. Sirs, since we're all people of the underworld, then this old man will be frank. In Wu City, there's only one decent restaurant. There are a few clean rooms upstairs. You can stay here. But this old man will also remind you that it's dark outside, and it's not peaceful outside. If you hear any sounds at night, please don't be offended and don't go out. After the shopkeeper finished speaking, he bowed and left. I'm afraid there's something strange about this Wu City. Master, let's eat first. Everyone clearly heard the shopkeeper's words. Tonight, no one goes out. After Boss Pengyu warned, the 4 of them ate some food. Yunsheng asked for 3 rooms. Boss Pengyu had 1 room, Bo and Little Ying had 1 room, and Yunsheng had 1 room by herself. When night fell, the 4 of them returned to their rooms. After returning to her room, Yunsheng sat cross-legged and meditated for a moment. Then, she took out the 8-tailed Celestial Fox's inheritance pillar. This was the 8-tailed inheritance pillar that Yunsheng had obtained from the ancient seal. Yunsheng had already studied it for a month. But compared to the 7-tailed inheritance pillar, this inheritance pillar was much harder to study. Yunsheng placed the inheritance pillar in front of her and slowly sent her consciousness into the inheritance pillar. In the dead of night, Bo and Little Ying were not sleepy at all. The 2 little girls opened their eyes wide. Suddenly, they heard a strange sound. That sound seemed like someone was talking, but also seemed like someone was crying. Bo, did you hear anything? Little Ying felt a little scared. She was after all a child, so she couldn't help but push Bo. It seems to be coming from the street. Bobo also heard a strange sound on the street. Should we go and take a look? Bobo urged little Ing Ing. I don't think it's a good idea. The shopkeeper of the restaurant said that we can't go out at night. Little Ing Ing was more obedient. She shook her head, although she was also very curious. What exactly was that strange sound coming from the street? Stupid, we're not going out. We're just going to open the window and take a look, Bobo said as she jumped off the bed and ran towards the window. All right, but we're just going to take a look. We definitely can't go out. Little Ing Ing and Bobo went to the window and carefully pushed it open a crack. Chapter 1283. The streets were pitch black, and only the hazy moonlight shone on them. Wu City was not a large city like Wu City. At night, there was not a single person on the streets, nor were there any illuminating magic arrays. However, that strange sound could still be heard from time to time. It sounded like the hooves of a beast. Bobo and little Ing Ing's eyesight was not bad. Especially Bobo, she saw it with a glance. Even though it was a pitch-black street, she saw a black magical beast walking over. That magical beast had pitch-black skin, and only 2 green eyes were shining brightly in the dark night. Bobo was afraid that she could not see it clearly, so she opened the window a little more. Her little head was already poking out. There are people. There are men and women. Little Ing Ing also followed Bobo and climbed up the window. That black magical beast had a very strange appearance. It had bat-like wings and 4 legs. On its back sat a warrior in black armor. Behind that magical beast, there were some women and men. Those young men and women were all in their teens to 20s. Their clothes were thin, and their appearances were either beautiful or handsome. They all looked like people from the Celestial Fox people. However, when these people walked, they were expressionless. Their feet were shackled, and their hair was loose. They followed the magical beast and the warrior through the streets. There were quite a lot of people, about 20 or so. Where are these people going in the middle of the night? Why do they look so strange? Bobo and little Ing Ing became even more curious. Half of their bodies were already out of the window. At this moment, that black magical beast suddenly let out a strange cry and raised its head. Its pair of strange green eyes immediately caught sight of Bobo and little Ing Ing, who were lying on the window. Not good. We've been discovered. Bobo and little Ing Ing were shocked. The 2 panicked and were about to close the window. However, at this moment, they discovered that they could not move their hands. Not only their hands, their entire bodies seemed to have been immobilized. They could not even make a sound. We're going to die. We're done for. Bobo's eyes were spinning with all her might. She was desperately calling for her master in her heart. However, Yun Sheng, who was in a meditative state, did not hear Bobo's cry for help. 2 little girls? The warrior riding the black magic beast strangely floated in the air. He approached the window and looked at Popo and little Ing Ing. The 2 girls were still very young, but Popo and little Ing Ing were very cute. In particular, her hair color and appearance were rarely seen on the continent. Although these 2 girls were a little young, they would definitely be stunning beauties when they grew up. Ronyang would definitely like them if he brought them back. That warrior grabbed little Ing Ing and little Bobo with one hand and took them away, leaving only the window of the inn open. Around dawn, Yun Sheng withdrew her spiritual consciousness from the inheritance pillar. She slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. It will probably take a few more days before I can completely comprehend this inheritance pillar. Yun Sheng's eyes flashed with a trace of contemplation. At this time, Boss Peng's panicked voice came from outside the door. Master, are Popo and little Ing Ing in your room? Boss Peng woke up early in the morning and did not see the 2 little guys. Yun Sheng's heart tightened when she heard this. Those 2 little guys must have caused some trouble. She hurriedly went to Popo and little Ing Ying's room with Boss Peng. The room was neat and tidy, without any traces of fighting. Only the window was open. Hearing that a guest was missing, the innkeeper hurriedly came up. Guest, how could you be so careless? This old man had already reminded you yesterday that no matter what happened outside in the middle of the night, you should not make a sound. The innkeeper's face was bitter. Innkeeper, what happened last night? Who took the 2 children with me? Yunsheng asked the innkeeper. The innkeeper stammered and refused to say. Bastard, if you don't say it, I will kill you right now. Boss Peng grabbed the innkeeper. Boss Peng, don't be anxious. Let me do it. Yunsheng's golden eyes flashed, and the innkeeper felt a pleasant voice flash through his mind. Soon, the innkeeper stood there in a daze, as if he had been hit by Yunsheng's corpse puppet spell. Innkeeper, I will ask and you will answer. What happened in Wu City? Yunsheng interrogated. She knew that the innkeeper must know something. Honorable guest, you are new here and do not know the situation here. Yudu is not peaceful, and there are often beast tides. About 2 to 3 years ago, a mysterious power appeared. It calls itself the Beast King and can protect the peace of Yudu. Every time there is a beast tide, the Beast King will help us chase away the devil beasts. When the innkeeper mentioned the beast tide, his face was full of reverence. Yudu was located in the northernmost part of Celestial Fox tribal country. There were many forests and lakes nearby, and there were also many devil beasts. Yudu was poor, and it was difficult to even pay the basic guards of the capital city. After a long time, the city walls fell into disrepair, and the armaments were not complete. Once there was a beast tide, only the common people would be harmed. The appearance of the Beast King gave the common people of Yudu a ray of hope. The Beast King will choose some young and beautiful men and women among the common people and send them to the Beast King to protect the safety of the people. The innkeeper seemed to be full of reverence for the Beast King. When he talked about the Beast King, his eyes were full of sincerity. Beast King? Isn't Yudu the capital city of Celestial Fox tribal country? If Yudu is in trouble, shouldn't it report to Hudu and ask for help? Yunsheng found it strange. Hudu has long stopped caring about the life and death of Yudu. Even Celestial Fox Saintus hasn't been to Yudu for decades. When the beast tide first happened, there were people who went to Celestial Fox Ancestral Hall to pray, but it was useless. The innkeeper's voice was full of helplessness. He also had family and friends, and they had once trusted Hudu and Celestial Fox Saintus. However, Hudu's lack of concern made people feel bitterly disappointed. Therefore, the common people had no choice but to save themselves. They chose to believe in the so-called Beast King. There was no longer a Celestial Fox Ancestral Hall in Wu City. There was a Beast King Ancestral Hall here. If the common people had any wishes, they would go to the Beast King Ancestral Hall to pray. The Beast King would protect them. According to what you said, the 2 companions that went missing last night were related to the Beast King? Yunsheng still had some doubts about the Beast King. For a moment, she didn't know whether the Beast King was good or bad. However, if the disappearance of Baby Bo and Little Ying was related to the Beast King, she had to meet the so-called Beast King. Chapter 1284. Most likely, they met the messenger of the Beast King. Wu City is within the borders of Yudu and is responsible for transporting young women from various cities and towns. Every night, different women from different places will be transported to Wu City from other places. These women are under the command of the Beast King. There are 10 great messengers who are responsible for transporting the young women from various places. The messengers all have powerful abilities, and no one can stop the messengers of the beast deity. After the innkeeper finished speaking, Yunsheng's gaze changed. The innkeeper only felt a shiver run down his spine, and when he regained his senses, she had already left the room. The innkeeper scratched his head and walked down the stairs with a strange expression. Master, something is not right. I have walked around for so long and have not heard of any Beast King. Boss Pengyu was also very worried about Bobo and Little Ying's safety. But now, other than the Beast King, they had no other clues. I have also tried to contact Bobo, but I couldn't. She and Ying must have been brought to some special place, and there should be a special barrier nearby to prevent Bobo from contacting me. Yunsheng was a little vexed. She was to blame for only focusing on comprehending the inheritance last night and missed the best opportunity to contact Bobo. The only thing we can do now is to ask around in the town. I think we can go to the local Beast King temple to take a look and see who exactly the Beast King is. Yunsheng also agreed with Boss Pengyu's idea. The two of them immediately asked around and found the Beast King Temple within the borders of a city. The Beast King Temple was built on the old site of the Celestial Fox Temple. When Yunsheng and Boss Pengyu walked into the Beast King Temple, they smelled the fragrance of incense and paper money. In front of them was a very exquisite ancestral hall. Compared to the dilapidated city, the appearance of this ancestral hall was very abrupt. Inside the Beast King Temple, the windows were clean and the tables were clean. The glazed roof tiles and vermilion-painted walls were a golden statue of the Beast King, sitting majestically in the middle of the Beast King Temple. The statue of the Beast King looked like a deer and a horse. It was covered in scales and had a pair of wings. It looked like some kind of magical beast. There were quite a lot of people in the Beast King Temple. Just as the innkeeper had said, the people in this area all believed in the Beast King. White-haired elders, 3- or 4-year-old children, and some well-dressed local rich people had all brought their families to pay respects to the Beast King. Kneeling beside Yunsheng was an old man in his 50s. "Honorable Lord Beast King, my daughter-in-law hasn't been pregnant for 3 years. I hope that Lord Beast King can bless her and let her give birth to a son or a daughter." The old man rambled on. Yunsheng narrowed her eyes slightly. She saw a fluorescent light coming out of the old man's body and surging towards the Beast King statue. Yunsheng was taken aback. The Beast King statue was also a statue of faith. Someone had actually placed such a large statue of faith here and openly obtained the power of faith of the Celestial Fox tribe. Earlier, when she left Hu City, the chief of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qinxiu, had repeatedly told her that the statue of faith was very precious and must be properly preserved. According to Hu Qinxiu, there should be a limited number of statues of faith that could absorb the power of faith in the Celestial Fox tribe. But in the Beast King Temple of Wu City, there was such a large statue of faith. The chief of the Celestial Fox people, Hu Qinsui, would probably vomit blood if he saw it. The power of faith could be considered the most mysterious power in the 8 Desolates continent. No matter where the Beast King came from, it was obviously much more powerful than Yunsheng had imagined. Other than the old man, the other people were also chanting when they were praying and kowtowing. In the Beast King Temple, fluorescent light would occasionally enter the statue of the Beast King. In a day, this statue of the Beast King could absorb a lot of power of faith. The Beast King had merged with the power of faith. Its strength was not to be underestimated. "Master, there is nothing strange nearby. We also didn't find any traces of Baby Bo and Little Ying." Boss Pengyu secretly observed, "Why are the two of you not kowtowing when you see the Beast King?" The old man who was kowtowing to the Beast King earlier saw the two of them standing in the Beast King Temple without burning incense or kowtowing. He felt that the two of them were very disrespectful. Hearing the old man's words, the other people in the Beast King Temple also stood up. "Yes, these two people. How can they be so rude? If they don't kowtow to the Beast King, then get out." Yunsheng noticed that when these people mentioned the Beast King, their eyes all turned scarlet. They were like gamblers with red eyes. Not only that old man, the others, regardless of gender, old or young, adults or children, all stood up at this time. They surrounded Yunsheng and Boss Pengyu with an unfriendly face. Their expressions were as if they had been possessed by the devil. "Let's leave here first." Yunsheng was unwilling to fight with these innocent people. She gave a look and left with Boss Pengyu. When Yunsheng and Boss Pengyu left the Beast King Temple, the eyes of the Beast King statue emitted a strange light. The two of them left the Beast King Temple in a sorry state. "Boss Pengyu, don't you think those people look a little strange? They look like they are being controlled by someone." Yunsheng was puzzled. Those people's trust in the Beast King had reached the point of fanaticism. Compared to her corpse puppet technique, the Beast King's control over those people was even stronger than her corpse puppet technique. This subordinate also saw it. If we had retreated a step later, those people would have already torn us to pieces. "Master, this subordinate boldly guesses, could this trip to the north be deliberately arranged by Celestial Fox people?" Boss Pengyu guessed. How could an old fox like Hu Qinxiu not know about the existence of the Beast King? He knew that the people in the north were all believers of the Beast King, but he sent Yun Sheng. His intention was already very clear. He clearly wanted to use Yun Sheng's power to wipe out the Beast King's power in this area. What a good Hu Qinxiu, what a scheming old fellow. Let's return to the inn first. Since we didn't find any clues in the area, we can only hope that we can gain something tonight. Yun Sheng immediately decided to return to the inn first and wait for night to fall before making any plans. Bobo and little Ying were muddle-headed as they were brought away from a city by the black demonic beast and the warrior. Along the way, the two of them couldn't speak or move. Even their 5 senses and 6 senses were sealed. They were blindfolded. After an unknown amount of time, they heard the black demonic beast roar. Only then did Bobo and little Ying feel their bodies relax. Someone pushed them from behind, and Bobo and little Ying were forced into some place. When their hands and feet regained their senses, Bobo and little Ying tore off the blindfold. The two of them looked around and discovered that they were locked up in a large room. Chapter 1285. Crap, they'd gotten into trouble again. That was little Ying's and little Ying's first reaction when they opened their eyes. Although this room was very simple, the furniture and decorations inside were all made of top-quality materials. It seemed that they were no longer in Wu City. In the room, other than the two of them, there were many other children. There were both boys and girls among these children, and they were all under the age of 10. Most of them had very delicate and cute appearances. However, they were different from little Ying and little Ying. These children all had lifeless eyes and did not open their mouths to speak. They were like puppets, either standing or sitting in the room. Little Ying even chatted with a little girl beside her for a while, but that girl ignored her. Little Ying looked around and tried to contact Yun Sheng. However, little Ying quickly discovered that when she tried to contact her master, her divine sense would be bounced back. Little Ying felt strange. She crept to the door and pushed it open, only to find that it was bolted shut. Little Ying was certain that there was definitely something outside this room that was blocking little Ying's divine sense. Thinking of this, little Ying's face collapsed and her expression became grave. Little Ying, where exactly is this place? Can we leave this place? When Master finds out that we're not here in the morning, she'll definitely be very angry. Little Ying felt a wave of lingering fear. She was already regretting that she shouldn't have peeked at the situation on the street out of curiosity last night. The children beside her were all like puppets. Other than the fact that they were still breathing, they were all like dead people. We're not in Wu City anymore, and I can't contact my dear master. Although little Ying was young, little Ying knew that the thing that could separate her from her master's divine sense was definitely not an ordinary power. Furthermore, for some unknown reason, she felt that the energy fluctuations here, as well as the black, demonic beast and martial artist from earlier, were somewhat familiar to her. However, little Ying could not recall where she had seen such energy fluctuations before. Let's wait first. In a while, there should be more people coming. Little Ying's guess was correct. Little Ying and little Ying waited for about half a day. During this time, someone brought them food. When they heard the word eat, those children were like animals. They surrounded them and wolfed down the food. Bobo and little Ying pretended to be like the other children and ate some food. In the afternoon, the door suddenly opened, and a strong fragrance of cosmetics assailed his nostrils. Bobo and little Ying hurriedly stood aside and pretended to be no different from other children. The person who entered the room was a beautiful woman. Her clothes were revealing, and there was a seductive cleavage on her chest. There was an indescribable seduction in her every movement. Bobo, with one look at this kind of woman, you can tell that she is not a good woman. Along with the woman was the black-clothed man that Popo and little Ying had seen earlier. Lord Beast King's emissary, the goods you brought this time are really good. These children are all pink and tender. They are all outstanding maidservants and minor officials. The woman's coquettish eyes wandered around the room, her face full of satisfaction. I'll leave these children to you. In a few days, I'll send another group of people over. The man who was called the Beast King's emissary said in a cold voice. He was not moved by the coquettish woman in front of him. After the man finished speaking, he waved his hand. Bobo and little Ing only felt that there was an additional fragrance in the air. Then those children all woke up. Seeing that they were in a strange place, the children could not help but cry. The woman walked in front of those children. She cleared her voice. You all listen clearly. I am Rong Yang, the proprietress of Canvas Moon House. From now on, each and every one of you are my people. I don't care what your background is before you came here. Once you come to Canvas Moon House, you must listen to me. Rong Yang's words made those children cry even harder. Don't cry. Do you know what kind of place Canvas Moon House is? Those who come here are all the most distinguished guests. From tomorrow onwards, you will begin to learn etiquette from me. If there is anyone who doesn't learn well, the only outcome is death. After Rong Yang finished speaking, she laughed. But there was an indescribable coldness in her smile. Bobo and little Ing looked at each other. Bobo and little Ing temporarily lived in Canvas Moon House. Because of their beautiful appearance, they were slightly better than those children, so they were chosen by Rong Yang to serve her. The two were also clever. After an afternoon, they had a general understanding of Canvas Moon House. Bobo quickly found out why she could not contact her master. Because in Canvas Moon House, there was a black talisman everywhere. That talisman formed a mysterious boundary. It was this boundary that prevented Bobo and Yun Sheng from contacting each other. Bobo knew very little about this kind of talisman. She only knew that when she was in Hudu, Elder Lu had this kind of talisman. As for where it came from, Elder Lu only said that it came from the hands of the great witch doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe. Could it be that Canvas Moon House had something to do with the great witch doctor? Canvas Moon House was a training institution. There was only one kind of people who could enter here, and that was outstanding appearance. Rong Yang said that outside Canvas Moon House, there was another place called Sun House. That place was different from Canvas Moon House. That place only recruited talented people. Canvas Moon House was responsible for training all kinds of outstanding people. They were responsible for serving people in the future. Those people in Sun House were only responsible for assassinations. No matter if it was Canvas Moon House or Sun House, they all belonged to a mysterious existence called Beast King. As for the black-clothed warrior that Bobo and little Ing met earlier, his identity was one of the 10 great emissaries of Beast King. But Bobo and little Ing did not dare to ask too much. They were afraid that they would attract Rong Yang's suspicion. On the other hand, Yun Sheng and Boss Peng Yu were still in the city, anxiously waiting for news about Bobo and little Ing. But out of Yun Sheng's expectation, after Bobo and little Ing disappeared, she had been hiding in the guest room of Canvas Moon House for a few days. In the middle of the night, she did not find anything strange, nor did any mysterious forces appear. Could it be that the other party had found something? Yun Sheng was hesitant. The longer she waited, the more worried she was about Bobo and little Ing Ying's situation, especially little Ing Ying's body. There was still a part of the mysterious black talisman's poison. If she waited too long, and Yun Sheng was not by little Ing Ying's side, she was afraid that the poison would take effect. 4 or 5 days passed like this. One day, Yun Sheng's consciousness moved. She suddenly heard the sound of Bobo. Bobo, where are you? Yun Sheng was alert. Dear Master Bobo, I missed you so much. Bobo's reaction was very excited. Chapter 1286. Hearing Bobo's voice, Yun Sheng breathed a sigh of relief. These days, Yun Sheng had been worried about Bobo and little Ing Ying's safety. Bobo told Yun Sheng that she and little Ing were in a place called the Moon Embracing Tower. As for the specific location of the Moon Embracing Tower, Bobo couldn't tell. She only knew that the Moon Embracing Tower should be on a high mountain, because last time, she and little Ing were brought here, and they seemed to have climbed a mountain on the way. Inside the Moon Embracing Tower, there were mysterious black talismans of the great witch doctor everywhere. Bobo also searched for several days before she found a place where there were no black talismans, and then she contacted Yun Sheng. Black talismans again? Yun Sheng became vigilant. Bobo, you be careful. That black talisman is very strange. You and little Ing Ing don't act rashly. I will find a way to sneak into the moon-embracing tower. Yun Sheng knew Bobo's temper. This little girl was very mischievous, and she was also a troublemaker. If she really pissed her off, she really didn't know what kind of trouble she would cause. Dearest master, the messenger of the Beast King, who captured me, and little Ing Ing will be sending another group of people over tonight. You can mix in with them and come over together. Bobo told Yun Sheng about what she and little Ing Ing had seen that night. Master, someone is coming. Bobo is going to work. Bobo said until here, and then she disconnected from Yun Sheng. After that, Yun Sheng wanted to contact Bobo again, but there was no news. Little girl, the others are training. What are you doing there? A guard of the moon-embracing tower came over. He recognized Bobo as the little girl who followed Rongyang. Rongyang asked me to go to the kitchen, but I didn't find the place. Uncle, my sense of direction is not very good, Bobo said with a confused face. Bobo's sense of direction was not good, but she was not pretending. The kitchen is on your left, the guard casually pointed. Bobo hurriedly thanked him and slipped into the kitchen. After a while, Bobo returned to Rongyang's room. Just as he walked out of the room, he heard someone crying. Bobo was shocked and hurried into the room. She found that little Ing Ying's face was red and there was a palm print on it. Rongyang was angry. Idiot, I asked you to comb my hair, but you were so clumsy. These days, Baby Bo and little Ing Ying had been following Rongyang around. Rongyang, this woman, had a seductive and foxy face. It was hard to tell her exact age, but her heart was very vicious. 2 or 3 of the children who were caught with Baby Bo and little Ing Ing wanted to sneak out of the moon pavilion that night. After Rongyang came back, those children never appeared in front of them again. Everyone said that Rongyang had killed the 2 children. Where the hell did you go? I asked you to bring some ginseng tea, but I didn't see you for a long time. Rongyang stared at Bobo. These 2 little girls were selected by her. They were relatively clever, but she didn't know that they were also 2 dull girls. Bobo, I accidentally got lost. Boss, don't be angry. You will get old easily if you get angry. Bobo pulled little Ing Ing and said sweetly, well, today we have a distinguished guest. You 2 go back to the room and tidy up. Don't make any mistakes. Rongyang glanced at Bobo's pink and tender face and sneered. Bobo and little Ing Ing quickly went down. Bobo touched little Ing Ying's face and looked annoyed. Bobo, I'm fine. I did it on purpose. I just found my luggage. Little Ing Ing touched her cheek and blinked. When little Ing Ing and Bobo were caught, little Ing Ing had a few bottles of medicine in her arms. Unfortunately, they were all taken away at that time. After those people took away the medicine, they gave it to Rongyang. Rongyang didn't understand medicine, so she just put away those pills and threw them aside. Those pills were prepared by Yun Sheng in order to protect little Ing Ing from any danger. Among them, there was also some mandala lotus. Master said that it was a strong anesthetic. Just a little bit of it could drug a large magical beast. Little Ing Ing saw that the Canvas Moon restaurant was heavily guarded. Earlier, she learned from the mistakes of those children who escaped, so she secretly looked for her medicine. Finally, she found that Rongyang kept the medicine in a secret room in the room. Hey, little Ing Ing, I also have good news. My dear master has been contacted. She should come to the Canvas Moon restaurant to save us in a few days. However, don't you want to give her a surprise? She rolled her eyes. Bobo, do you want to? Little Ing Ing swallowed her saliva. In fact, she also hated that bad woman Rongyang. Master said that a woman's face was the most precious. That damn Rongyang dared to hit her. Little Ing Ing made up her mind to take revenge. I just went to the kitchen and found a few flints and some oil in there. Little Ing Ing giggled, and the 2 little brats immediately started to whisper to each other. That night, Rongyang put on heavy makeup and called Bobo and little Ing Ing into the room to receive them. When they entered the room, they found that there were already several good-looking boys and girls in the room. Some of these children had entered the moon-embracing brothel with little Ing Ing, and they were all the most outstanding-looking ones. They were afraid of Rongyang. They didn't know why Rongyang called them in. In the room, in addition to Rongyang, there was also a middle-aged man. Rong-yang, the good stuff you said, is it ready? The man was wearing a mask. His pair of wretched eyes swept over the children. When he saw Bo, his eyes suddenly lit up. What a tender little girl. Her skin was soft and tender. The rarest thing about her was that her hair and eyes were a rare shade of pink. This middle-aged man had a perverted hobby, which was to collect all kinds of good-looking children for him to play with. How is it? Not bad, right? These little guys are all young. The oldest is only 8 years old, and the youngest is only 6 years old. Rong-yang looked at the middle-aged man's appearance and knew that he was very satisfied with this batch of goods. Name a price. The middle-aged man understood tacitly. A statue of faith. Rong-yang's words made the middle-aged man frown. A statue? Rong-yang, your appetite is too big. You know that thing is a taboo in the god realm. It is strictly forbidden to let it flow into the human realm. You have already gotten 10 of them. If you want 3 more, if it is discovered, everyone will have to bear the consequences. God realm? Human realm? Forbidden thing? As soon as Bo heard these words, he immediately became alert. She secretly looked at the middle-aged man and found that although this person was disguised, there was a very weak fluctuation of divine power around him. This middle-aged man was actually a god. Chapter 1287. When she found the divine power, Bo's heart beat violently a few times. She originally thought that the Moon Pavilion was just an illegal organization set up by some Bakr orcs, but she didn't expect that the Moon Pavilion actually entertained guests from the god realm. No wonder these people had always been so mysterious. Combined with the black talisman she saw earlier, what was the origin of the Moon Pavilion? Rong-yang and the middle-aged man on the side didn't know anything. Bo was eavesdropping. Master, don't worry, the god realm is far away from here. How can there be a god so free to care about the human world? As for the so-called manager of the human world, the previous cowardly god, I don't know where he went. The human world will soon be my master's world. Don't you trust my master? Rong-yang's words were like a lotus, persuading from the side. Rong-yang's words also touched the heart of the unknown god. The human world was now in no man's land. No god had the mind to care about the trivial matters here. It was also because of this situation that he and some gods with special hobbies secretly entered the human world. After all, the human world was different from the god realm. There were not so many rules. They could casually torture a few people to death. When he thought of the taste of the human world's children, the god couldn't help but waver. Anyway, he had already given the Moon Pavilion several statues of faith. What was one more? Rong-yang on the side was also secretly looking at the god's reaction. Looking at him, he was already moved by her words. Rong-yang secretly said in her heart, these so-called gods of the god realm seem to be high and mighty, but to put it bluntly, they are not sanctimonious. They can't do dirty things in the god realm, so they secretly come to the human world to do it. When they return to the god realm, they will still be high and mighty gods. Rong-yang's master grasped this point and built the Moon Pavilion. It's settled. The 2 little girls and the boy, I will take them with me. The god in the mask said, looking at Bo with evil intentions. His eyes made Bo suddenly have a bad feeling in her heart. Bo was young, but she was not stupid. After listening for a while, she already understood that these people were carrying out dirty and shameful transactions. That damned Rong-yang, that damn moon-embracing house, they actually used a broken statue to sell her off. She was a universe god in the mortal world, but she was betrayed by these people. Bo was furious. In her heart, it was as if there was a crazy female T-Rex crazily clamoring. Originally, she had wanted to poison this group of people and wait for her master to come and deal with them. But now, Bo changed her mind. When it came to taking revenge, it was better to do it personally. Let's do as you say. As usual, I'll order my disciple Qingqing to send the idol of faith to the Zhaori Pavilion. Just like before, we'll hand over the thing and exchange the person with the other. The masked god finally couldn't stand Rong-yang's persuasion. What are you all still standing there for? Come forward and pour wine for his excellency. Rong Yang saw that the deal was done. Her face glowed, and her mood improved a lot. However, using 3 dispensable children in exchange for a statue of faith was a great thing. You know, a statue of faith was not something that could be obtained so easily. The more statues of faith, the more power of faith could be obtained for his excellency. These so-called gods of the divine world were usually conceited, but in fact, they were all idiots. Although the human race in the mortal world was like an ant, they had a large number of people. It was much easier to obtain their power of faith than in the divine world. They actually ignored the existence of the mortal world. Bobo took the initiative to step forward and poured wine for the two. Little Ying watched nervously from the side. Knowing that Rong Yang and the masked god drank the wine in one gulp, Bobo and little Ying breathed a sigh of relief. After a while, Rong Yang and the masked god's body swayed. Both of them couldn't support themselves, and with a plop, they fainted. The boy on the side obviously didn't know what had happened. He subconsciously wanted to shout, but Bobo rushed forward and knocked him unconscious. Bobo, what should we do now? After little Ying followed Yunsheng and Bobo, her courage grew a lot, but after all, this was the first time she experienced such a thing. Her hands and feet were still cold. Did you follow my instructions and put the mandala lotus poison in the kitchen? Bobo looked at the unconscious masked god and Rong Yang. The anesthetic refined by her dear master was really powerful. Even the gods were numbed and fainted. Yes, in a big bag. Little Ying didn't know what Bobo was going to do next. Bobo stepped forward and took off the mask of the masked god. It's actually him? After Bobo saw the face of the masked god, her face turned pale. Bobo, do you know him? Little Ying looked at the man with disgust. She didn't know whether he was a god or not. She only knew that this masked man and Rong Yang were in cahoots and had killed many children of the Embracing Moon Tower. These people were all bad people. This person is one of the sovereigns under my mother. He is good at sculpting and has made many outstanding sculptures. I didn't expect that he would collude with the Embracing Moon Tower and sell the things of the god realm to the human realm. Bobo's little head suddenly calmed down a lot. Recently, it seemed that a lot of unusual things had happened. She tried to contact the son of the underworld, but she couldn't get in touch with it. Also, after she fell to the human realm, her mother god didn't come to find her. What was even more strange was that Rong Yang just said that soon, the human realm would be her master's territory. Too many questions made Bobo's mood very irritable. She felt as if she was involved in a big conspiracy. Her master hadn't come yet. She had to rely on herself and little Ying to find the answer. A bowl of cold water was poured on Rong Yang's face. Rong Yang shuddered. When she woke up, she found that she had been tied up. She was shocked. Looking around, she found that the master god was also tied up. The 2 little girls who had been serving her, Bobo and little Ying, were standing in front of her. You 2 damn girls, did you eat the guts of a leopard? You actually dared to drug us. Rong Yang's beautiful face twisted, full of malevolence. Slap! A slap, loud and clear, stunned Rong Yang. Damn you. Before Rong Yang finished cursing, another slap came. Shut up, you vicious woman. I'm slapping you on behalf of little Ying. You hit her, you ordered us. Bobo put her hands on her hips, looking like a newborn calf who was not afraid of a tiger. She slapped Rong Yang several times in a row. Bobo's strength was not to be underestimated. With one slap, a man who practiced martial arts would be crippled, let alone Rong Yang. After a few slaps, Rong Yang's teeth were all broken by Bobo. Chapter 1288. Rong Yang's face had been beaten out of shape. Her mouth was full of teeth and blood. When she opened her mouth to speak, she spat out a few teeth. You've got guts. Guards, where the hell are they? Rong Yang was so angry that she fainted. She shouted a few times and found that there was no sound outside. Don't shout. Your people have fainted. Little Ying looked at Bobo, who was so fast and felt very happy. Rong Yang was speechless. She didn't expect that she, who had been running rampant in the Bahuang continent for so long, would fall into the hands of two little girls. What was more hateful was that the two little girls had used some unknown method to drug the entire Lanyu house. She thought that she had found two money trees, who knew that they were two little jinxes. Rong Yang's heart was full of bitterness at this moment. You dare to sell the two of us for the price of a belief statue. Are you blind? The more Bobo thought about it, the angrier she became. She raised her fist and punched Rong Yang's eyes twice. Two little ladies, Rong Yang also has eyes but can't see. Please be merciful. Rong Yang also knew how to read the situation. She looked at the two people and knew that Bobo was the one who made the decision. So she begged Bobo, if you want me to be merciful, tell me, who is the mastermind behind you? Bobo grabbed Rong Yang and questioned her. Little lady, Rong Yang doesn't know what you are talking about. What mastermind behind the scenes? The owner of Lanyu House is me. Rong Yang rolled her eyes and refused to admit it. Little Ying, where is your dagger with the decaying poison? Bobo's eyes darkened. In little Ying's self-defense luggage, there was a small dagger. The dagger looked ordinary, but it had been refined by Yun Sheng with rotting corpse poison. The poison had already seeped deep into the dagger. As long as there was a cut, the poison in the dagger would seep into the wound, causing the person's skin to split open. After Bobo asked for the dagger, she calmly dragged in a tall guard from outside the door. She raised the dagger and made a small cut on the guard's body. The moment the blood touched the dagger, the guard's flesh immediately rotted. In less than a quarter of an hour, the guard had turned into a puddle of corpse water. The stench was unbearable. Rong Yang's face immediately changed. In her eyes, the two little Lolas in front of her had instantly become two demons. Rong Yang thought that since Baby Bo and Little Ying were still young, as long as she clenched her teeth and refused to admit it, everything would be fine. But Rong Yang never thought that Baby Bo and Little Ying were living with Yun Sheng. How could a pet beast and disciple trained by someone like Yun Sheng be so easily bullied? The two little girls had also experienced the tribulations of life and death. This time, they had made a mess, so they were thinking of ways to make up for their mistakes. Bobo raised the dagger and waved it in front of Rong Yang. What do you think? If I cut you a few times, you'll turn into a puddle of corpse water. Be obedient and tell me who the mastermind is. Otherwise, I'll raise my hand and slash down, and your beautiful face will suffer. As Bobo spoke, she even winked mischievously. Her pink eyes flickered with an evil glint. From Little Ying's point of view, Bobo looked like a miniature version of her master right now. Don't come closer. I'll tell you everything. Rong Yang's face turned pale with fright. Rong Yang was so frightened that she blurted out everything she knew. The lunar pavilion was built by His Majesty the Beast King. He used the lunar pavilion to bribe many over-gods of the celestial realm. There are even a few sovereigns amongst them. We even have quite a bit of dirt on them. Rong Yang was originally an ordinary human. Because of her beautiful appearance, she was among the first batch of people to be abducted into the lunar pavilion. Unlike the others, Rong Yang didn't feel sorry for herself. She saw the lunar pavilion as an opportunity. She was good at acting and flattering. Soon, she attracted the attention of her superiors. Finally, she was promoted to run the lunar pavilion. My two great aunts, that's all I know. After Rong Yang finished speaking, she begged Bobo to let her go. Who is the Beast King? What Bobo really wanted to know was the identity of the Beast King. I don't know. The Beast King is very mysterious. I only know that his identity is very honorable. Usually, when I come to the lunar pavilion, he doesn't show up. It's always his Beast King messengers who come to talk to me. Rong Yang was telling the truth this time. Although she was the person in charge of the lunar pavilion, she was still just a pawn. She didn't have the chance to meet the Beast King. However, that His Majesty should know the identity of the Beast King. In order to survive, Rong Yang pointed at the unconscious god. Little Ying, wake him up. Bobo's little face was tense. The masked god was splashed with cold water and slowly woke up. He found that the mask on his face had been removed and immediately became furious. Rong Yang, how dare you take off my mask? The Master God had come to the human realm in secret all this time. And Jiao, you are the one who has the guts. You dare to do such a despicable thing in the mortal realm behind the back of the supreme gods. A somewhat childish voice startled the masked Master God. When he heard the other party accurately call out his name, and Jiao was dumbfounded. He didn't expect to meet an acquaintance in a place like the Lunar Pavilion. And Jiao looked over and saw two little people standing in front of him. One of them was glaring at him. Pink hair, pink eyes. Wasn't this the little girl he had taken a fancy to earlier? As for Rong Yang, she was already pale with fright. She was tied up and thrown aside. Lord and it has nothing to do with me this time. I don't know where these two ladies came from. It was also the first time Rong Yang heard Jiao's real name and saw his real face. Rong Yang's heart was filled with regret. Judging from the tone of the little lady, she was clearly a god too. She had almost sold out a god. Who are you? How do you recognize me? Jiao searched his memory, but he couldn't remember where he had seen Bo. Who am I? That's a good question. Just now, didn't you say that I'm a good for nothing? Bo raised her voice and moved her little face closer to Jiao. It's you. You are Bo, and Jiao's expression suddenly changed. He looked at Bo again. Indeed, the divine egg that had been following Supreme God for directions in the early years was pink. But then, Jiao's expression changed again. His face was full of arrogance. Bo, if you know what's good for you, let me go quickly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. You are now just an abandoned god. Chapter 12:89. What did you say? Who's the abandoned god? Bo's face scrunched up. Bo, do you think you're still the most favored master god of Four Directions? Dream on, you've been abandoned by the god realm. Four Directions and the others have already chosen a new candidate for the human world's world god. You're now an abandoned god. No one wants you. You're trash, a loser that no one wants. Jiao laughed at her misfortune. When Bo was in the god realm, she was very favored because she was protected by Four Directions and Ming Ri. However, her divine power was not strong, and she had a strange appearance. The other master gods under Four Directions would take the opportunity to bully her. Jiao had been jealous of Bo for a long time, but he was very sinister and never showed it on the surface. Now that Bo had become an abandoned god and completely lost her status, Jiao unscrupulously revealed his true colors and took the opportunity to attack her. Not only that, Jiao also secretly moved his hands and feet and found that the toxicity of the poison in his body was decreasing bit by bit. Although Bo was an abandoned god, she had seen a side of Jiao that no one knew. Jiao was also looking for an opportunity to kill her. After Bo heard the news, it was like a bolt from the blue. Her beautiful eyes were covered with a layer of mist. Abandonment of the gods, this word sounded so harsh. Bo did not want to believe it, but she thought about the series of things that had happened recently. After she contacted Ming Ri did not respond to her. It turned out that it was not that Ming Ri was not in the underworld, but that he did not want to see her. He had long known that Bo was abandoned by the god realm because she was too useless. Even Ming Ri looked down on her. He did not want to contact her anymore. Mother God did not want her anymore. Bo did not have any relatives in this world. For so many years, she was alone. When she was still an egg, she was ignorant and did not care about happiness and sadness. However, after she came out of the beast language ring, especially after she was with Yin Sheng, she slowly learned to think like a human. She once thought that no matter how useless she was, at least there was still Mother God and Ming Ri. However, it turned out that all of this was just her imagination. Bo felt completely disheartened. She couldn't even hear what Jiao was saying. Although little Ying didn't understand what Bo and Jiao were talking about, her heart couldn't help but clench when she saw that Bo had quieted down and looked like she was about to cry. Nonsense. No one would want kiss. Bo is a very important person to Master and me. Even if someone else doesn't want her, Master and I will never leave Bo, little Ing Ying's little face puffed up with anger. She mustered up her courage and rushed in front of Nie Diao. That's right, there was also his dear master and little Ing Ying. Bo's head, which had been hanging low, suddenly lifted up. In her mind, the familiar face of her master and the little friends in the beast language ring appeared. However, even if the god realm didn't want her anymore, she still had a master. Bo wiped the corner of her eyes. Her heart was very painful, but when she thought that she was not alone, her heart felt a lot of comfort. And Diao, I almost fell for your trick. Tell me, who is the real owner of the moon embracing tower? Bo's pink eyes turned dark red. Because Diao had a god body, the effect of the Mandala Lotus's poison on his body was much weaker than normal people. In another 15 minutes, his hands and feet would return to normal. Bo, what are you talking about? I am only a normal customer of the moon embracing tower. How would I know who the owner is? Diao was very cunning. He wanted to stall for time. As long as 15 minutes passed, he would be able to catch the two damn brats. After he killed the two brats, who in the mortal realm would know that he had been to the mortal realm? Diao, don't think that I am still the ignorant Bo from before. Let me ask you, is the owner of the moon embracing tower the new world deity of the mortal realm that was chosen by the god realm to replace me? Bo asked sternly, and Diao was startled. He didn't think that Bo had guessed correctly. Looking at your appearance, I guessed correctly. However, there is one thing you are wrong about. He is not considered a world deity of the mortal realm. The world deity seal is still with me. As long as I don't hand over the world deity seal, he is not a world deity. Bo's little head suddenly became clear. This? Bo, you're not too stupid. That's right, the new world deity hasn't really taken office yet. But with his and his tribe's strength, it is only a matter of time before he becomes a world deity. As for the world deity seal, don't forget that as long as that lord has enough power of belief from the mortal realm, he can use the power of belief to refine a new world deity seal. And Diao had already started to use the statues of belief in the god realm, in the mortal realm. That person, who is he? Bo's little face was cold. It is useless for you to force me. Even if you know his identity, you can't provoke him. To tell you the truth, if I were you, I would obediently leave the mortal realm and hide in the underworld. Otherwise, a trash like you who abandoned your divine body will only become a delicious cake in the eyes of other clans wherever you go. And Diao sneered. Thank you for telling me so many things. Bo's mouth held a hint of a smile. That smile fell into Diao's eyes, and it was somewhat sinister. What do you want to do? Diao struggled, but the effect of the medicine had not dissipated. No matter how he struggled, his limbs were still weak. Diao, you have not stayed in the mortal realm long enough. There is a saying that you must have not heard. If you cut the grass without removing the roots, it will grow again when the spring breeze blows. I have seen your scandal, so you will not let me go. So in order to keep the secret between us, there is only one way. Either you die, or I die. Bo waved her little hand, and two sides as thin as cicada's wings appeared with two buzzing sounds. The two sides slowly turned from pink to blood red. Bo's pink eyes were also changing little by little. You want to kill me? You? How dare you? You are killing a god, and you will be punished by the gods. Diao felt traces of cold air coming from the bottom of his feet. He had never thought that the trash Bo, who did not even dare to kill an ant in the god realm, would have the guts to kill him. No, it was impossible. He had a divine body. A trash like Bo could not possibly kill him. Killing a god? Diao, what you have done in the mortal realm has long violated the rules of the mortal realm. Don't forget, as long as the new world's god has not ascended the throne, I, Bo, am the god of the mortal realm. Your life is mine. Bo pursed her pink lips, and the blood sides in her hands were like two blood butterflies spreading their wings. Puff, blood sprayed out. Chapter 1290. Lightning flashed in the sky. Bobo's little body stood straight. Her beautiful and delicate little face was expressionless. At that moment, Bobo looked like the son of the underworld. She was no longer the carefree Bobo of the human world, but a Rakshasa from the underworld. Ni Jiao's head rolled on the ground. His body had completely lost its life. After killing Ni Jiao, the two blood sides whistled and returned to Bobo's side. Little Ying and Rong Yang, who were on the side, were frightened by this scene. Little Ying stared at Bobo with her eyes wide open. Rong Yang's body was trembling even more. Oh my God, this little girl killed the master god of the god world. Bobo, are you okay? Little Ying gathered her courage and walked forward. I'm fine, little Ying. It's almost time. Wake up those innocent children, and then we'll set fire to the canvas moon building. Bobo's eyes flashed. Then what about these people? Little Ying looked at Rong Yang. These people are all bad people. If you show mercy to bad people, countless good people will suffer in the future. Kill them. Don't leave anyone alive. Bobo's tone was no longer childish. In her eyes, there was only determination and decisiveness. When Rong Yang heard this, she was so scared that she collapsed on the ground. Bobo and little Ying immediately looked for those innocent children in the canvas moon building. After waking the children up one by one, they poured all the oil in the kitchen to every corner of the building. As soon as the oil touched the fire, it immediately rose high. The canvas moon building was filled with fire. Bobo and little Ying stood in front of the blazing canvas moon building. Behind them, those children were trembling in fear. None of them dared to make a sound. Under the contrast of the fire, the sky completely turned into a blood-red color. A red lightning, like an angry blood dragon, broke through the sky. The whole sky seemed to be torn into two halves. Heavy rain poured down like a torrential downpour. This sudden rainstorm had obstructed the footsteps of the group from Wu City. Stop! The Beast King's messenger and the unknown black demonic beast were forced to stop by the heavy rain. They entered the largest restaurant in Wu City. At this time, it was already around midnight. The shopkeeper, who was still sleepy, crawled out of his bed. When he saw the messenger of the Beast King and the magical beast, he was so scared that he almost knelt down. Lord Envoy, what orders do you have? Prepare food and wine, as well as clean clothes. Can't you see that everyone is drenched? This damned weather. The Beast King's emissary roared angrily. Behind the Beast King's emissary were a dozen women. The women were also drenched by the rain. Their faces were pale, and they looked extremely weak. These women were all the envoys of the Beast King. They were beauties that had been collected from numerous villages and towns near Yudu. If they were to be tormented, the losses would outweigh the gains. The shopkeeper didn't dare to say no. After a while, the wine was ready and the dishes were ready. It was still raining heavily outside. The restaurant was completely silent. At this moment, a woman's body swayed and fell to the ground with a plop. The women around her were all shocked. What's going on? The Spirit King's messenger went forward to check. He saw that the woman's eyes were tightly shut. Her glabella was black, and there was a black wound on her calf. The blood that flowed out of the wound was black. Lord, we don't know what happened. When we entered the inn just now, Xiao Yu said that she was accidentally pricked by a protruding rock on the ground. She didn't pay much attention to it. Who knew that in such a short time, she would become like this? The woman who fainted on the ground was called Xiao Yu. The women who were with her all had terrified looks on their faces. The Beast King's emissary looked at the wound and saw that it was bleeding nonstop. Moreover, the poison was showing signs of spreading to other places. At this time, in the middle of the night, where could they find a doctor? Shopkeeper, go and wake up everyone in the restaurant. See if there's a doctor. The Beast King's emissary roared angrily, scaring the shopkeeper. He could only curse his bad luck in his heart. Of all places to be poisoned, why did he have to be poisoned in his restaurant? The shopkeeper reluctantly went upstairs and woke up the sleeping guests one by one. Lord Beast King, this woman said that she's a doctor. The shopkeeper wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. The Beast King's emissary looked at the person. She was plain-looking and had a sallow complexion. She looked like a patient and was carrying something that looked like a medical kit. "You're a doctor?" The Beast King's emissary still didn't trust the person. "I'm a doctor. This lady seems to have an infected wound and needs immediate treatment." The female doctor looked young and was very calm. Facing the ferocious Beast King's emissary, she didn't panic. The Beast King's emissary looked at the woman carefully and found that there was no particularly obvious magic fluctuation on her body. She also didn't have any fighting chi. He thought that she was just an ordinary doctor. There were no other doctors at the moment, so he could only let her go forward and check. After the female doctor went forward, she took out a needle bag and a very strange-shaped knife from her medical kit. She used the strange knife to make a small incision on the woman's wound and let her blood out. After the black blood was drained, everyone only saw a blur before their eyes. There were a few more needles in the female doctor's hand. She quickly pricked the woman's wound a few times with the needles, and the wound that was originally bleeding stopped immediately. Finally, the female doctor just smeared some medicine on the woman's wound, and a new layer of flesh quickly grew on the woman's wound. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't be able to tell that she had been injured earlier. The entire treatment process took no more than a quarter of an hour. Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't expect that this plain-looking female doctor would have such brilliant medical skills. The Beast King's emissary's earlier doubts were all gone. Seeing that the female doctor's medical skills were so brilliant, the Beast King's emissary couldn't help but want to recruit her. "What's your name? Why haven't I seen such medical skills before?" "My name is Yun Sheng. I'm an ordinary traveling doctor on the mainland. My medical skills aren't that great. I learned medicine under a reclusive old witch." Yun Sheng, who used the disguise spell to change her appearance, had a calm expression on her face. I see that your medical skills are not bad. Are you interested in joining the Beast King's emissary?" The Beast King's emissary believed that there weren't many people on this mainland who would reject the Beast King's invitation. As the Beast King's emissary expected, the female doctor showed a respectful expression after hearing the Beast King's name and straightforwardly accepted his invitation. Although the Beast King's emissary accepted Yun Sheng, he was a very suspicious person. Before he set off, he called Yun Sheng over. Chapter 1291. Although this, Yun Sheng did not have any obvious fluctuation of battle energy or magic power. The messenger of the Beast King did not dare to let his guard down. After all, the Beast King's influence was still very limited. If he accidentally gave himself away, it was very likely that it would affect the Beast King's overall plan, and the person who spoiled the Beast King's great plan would die without a doubt. Those who join the Beast King's subordinates have to first undergo the test of the mythical beast Rue. With that, the messenger of the Beast King waved his hand, and the magical beast that had been following the team all this time walked out. When she saw that magical beast, the look in Yun Sheng's eyes changed slightly. Yun Sheng was an outstanding summoner. She had seen countless magical beasts, but this magical beast in front of her gave her a very special feeling. In the beast language ring, the summoning hand that had not moved for a long time moved strangely, as if warning this magical beast that there was some danger. Based on her experience, this was not an ordinary magical beast. This was an auspicious mythical beast, which meant that this so-called Beast King subordinate was actually a mythical beast. Looking at its level, she was afraid that it was only slightly inferior to the vermilion bird, but slightly stronger than the current totem mythical beast vermilion bird. Yun Sheng, you can't let your guard down. What was the origin of that Beast King? Why would there be an auspicious mythical beast under his command? Yun Sheng's doubts grew, but her expression did not change at all. This auspicious mythical beast should be the real leader of this team. In terms of real strength, the so-called messenger of the Beast King was probably below this auspicious mythical beast. That auspicious mythical beast walked to Yun Sheng, and its very special eyes emitted a dazzling green light. When Yun Sheng's eyes stared into the auspicious mythical beast's eyes, she felt that she had lost control of her body all of a sudden, and she could not even make a sound. It seemed that this auspicious mythical beast was also the reason why Bobo and the others were quietly taken away that day. Although Yunsheng could not move, she did not panic too much. Vermilion bird. Do you know the origin of this auspicious mythical beast? Yunsheng communicated with the vermilion bird totem on the Shinnong medical bracelet. That is a dream otter, an auspicious mythical beast in the god realm. This kind of mythical beast is not a real mythical beast, but its dream technique is very powerful. It can control people unknowingly. However, compared to the illusion technique of the celestial fox tribe, the dream otter's dream technique is nothing. The vermilion bird totem was also very strange. Why would the auspicious mythical beast appear in the human world? Is there any way to contract with this mythical beast? Cloud Monk asked. The Rue mythological beast is not like ordinary magical beasts. It cannot be contracted with blood. The vermilion bird totem. The vermilion bird totem explained. The vermilion bird totem. The vermilion bird totem. It was obviously impossible for other people to contract with the auspicious mythical beast, but Yunsheng was different. She was a powerful summoner at the level of the Emperor Zhao in red. Moreover, she had the corpse puppet technique and the golden puppet pupil. It was not impossible for her to contract with the auspicious mythical beast. Yunsheng understood in her heart, and the corner of her mouth revealed an imperceptible smile. Obviously, the Beast King's messenger wanted to use this auspicious mythical beast to control Yunsheng. In Yunsheng, the Beast King's messenger used the auspicious mythical beast to successfully control many people. Among them, there was no lack of powerful magicians and warriors. Those people, without exception, were all tamed by the Dream Otter. However, this time, the Beast King and his auspicious mythical beast kicked a wall. Auspicious mythical beast, right? It seemed to be very proficient in the art of dream bewitchment, but among all the magical beasts, the Celestial Fox clan was the most proficient in hypnotism, especially Yunsheng, who was proficient in the corpse puppet technique and the golden puppet pupil, the seven-tailed Celestial Fox. In the mainland, other than the eight-tailed Celestial Fox, there was probably no other person or magical beast that was stronger than Yunsheng in terms of hypnotism. The golden pupils met the dark green pupils of the auspicious mythical beast. A strange look appeared in the auspicious mythical beast's eyes. It seemed to have sensed that there was something wrong with the person in front of it. However, when it let out a warning sound, it felt a buzzing sound in its brain. A mysterious and powerful voice had quickly occupied its consciousness. Yunsheng's consciousness quickly invaded the auspicious mythical beast's consciousness. Its Dharma soul appeared in front of Yunsheng. In the Dharma soul, which was like a cloud of star fog, Yunsheng's consciousness was all-pervasive. Soon, she discovered that there was a green brand in the auspicious mythical beast Dharma soul. Yunsheng did not say a word. She gathered the power of her consciousness and attacked that green brand. The auspicious mythical beast wanted to resist, but it was useless. Its eyes were blank at first and slowly became docile. All of this, in the eyes of outsiders, was silent. No one even noticed the changes in the auspicious mythical beast and Yunsheng. If the Beast King's messenger knew that because of his carelessness, he had lost an auspicious mythical beast, who knew how angry he would be. Without anyone noticing, Yunsheng had made a contract with the auspicious mythical beast. She wiped the sweat from her forehead. The green light in the auspicious mythical beast's eyes faded. It looked as if nothing had happened and growled a few words at the Beast King's messenger. It seemed that there was nothing wrong with that woman. Seeing this, the Beast King's messenger was relieved. At this time, the sky was already bright, and the rain outside had stopped. The Beast King's messenger waved his hand. Yunsheng and the captured women of the Celestial Fox tribe followed the Beast King's messenger and set off. Above the light blue sky, the blonde elf queen and Boss Pengyu stood side by side. It seems that Master's plan was very successful. She has successfully sneaked in. Boss Pengyu's face was full of admiration. He had always thought that Yunsheng was just a celestial fox with a noble bloodline. He did not expect that she had such a powerful companion hidden by her side. Take the elf queen beside him, for example. She actually knew how to call the wind and summon the rain. The sudden heavy rain last night was a trick played by the elf queen. After Yunsheng got the news from Bobo, she also thought about how to sneak into the Beast King's messenger's team. After discussing with Boss Pengyu, she deliberately created the rain so that the Beast King's messenger would have no choice but to stop when they reached Wa City. As for Boss Pengyu, he was lying in ambush in the dark. When everyone was unprepared, he injured a woman. The two of them worked together and successfully deceived the Beast King's messenger. Let's tail them, but don't get too close to avoid being discovered. The elf queen nodded. She and Boss Pengyu, one in front and one behind, tailed the Beast King's messenger's team in the sky. Chapter 1292. In the sky, the elf queen and Boss Pengyu followed closely. On the ground, Yunsheng's heart was still worried. She had sneaked in. She didn't know how long it would take to get to the moon pavilion. She hoped that Baby Bo and Little Ying could handle it. Because of the trap set up yesterday, Yunsheng was delayed for a night. Following the team, Yunsheng did not rush to contact Baby Bo. But along the way, Yunsheng happened to be following the newly contracted Dream Otter and communicated with it. Yunsheng originally thought that after contracting the Dream Otter, she would be able to find the mastermind behind the Moon Canvas restaurant. However, after contracting the Dream Otter, Yunsheng discovered that the Beast King behind the Dream Otter was very cautious. After Yunsheng erased Dream Otter's spiritual contract mark, Dream Otter could not explain the true identity of the Beast King. But one thing was certain, the Beast King was just a code name. His true identity was a god in the god realm. When Yunsheng was in the underworld, she had heard Mingri say that other than the respective gods, no other gods were allowed to appear in the human realm and the underworld. Now that it was confirmed that there was a god-level character in the Bahuan continent, and this person was using illegal means to collect the power of faith, this matter must be treated carefully. After a day and a night, around dawn, Yunsheng and others arrived at the foot of a mountain. The Sun Pavilion is in front. Everyone follow me up the mountain. The words of the Beast King's messenger surprised Yunsheng. She did not go directly to the Moon Pavilion, but was taken to a place called the Sun Pavilion. It turned out that the stronghold of the Beast King in the human realm was different. Those men and women with outstanding looks would be sent to the Moon Pavilion managed by Rong Yang, while those like Yunsheng, who were not outstanding in appearance but had special skills, would be sent to the Sun Pavilion. Earlier, the Beast King's messenger had planned to send most of them directly to the Moon Pavilion, but because of the agreement between Rong Yang and Enai Jiao would send a statue of faith to the Sun Pavilion in a few days. To be on the safe side, the messenger of the Beast King decided to go to the Sun Calling Pavilion to welcome the statue of faith first. Yunsheng naturally didn't know the whole story. She could only follow him up the mountain. The Sun Beckoning Pavilion was built on top of a tall mountain. It was located in the east of the 8 wastelands and was immersed in the sea of clouds and strange rocks all year round. There was also a large number of ferocious magical beasts residing in the mountains. Usually, if someone accidentally entered the mountains, there was an 80 to 90% chance that they would not return. Yunsheng followed the Beast King's messenger up the mountain, all the way until they reached a precipitous cliff, where a majestic pavilion appeared. Mythical beast Rue, take these people down first. The messenger of the Beast King looked at 1 hour with an anxious expression. Yunsheng and the other women were escorted away. After everyone left, the Beast King's messenger rose into the air and flew towards a certain place in the sea of clouds. No one knew that there was a magic array hidden in this sea of clouds that never dispersed all year round. This magic array was also the only exit between the realm of the gods and the 8 wastelands. The sea of clouds was filled with clouds and mist. The Beast King's messenger found a colorful cloud with a special color. He chanted, and that colorful cloud emitted a colorful golden light. Under the illumination of the golden light, the sea of clouds and the surroundings surged like a tidal wave. The sea of clouds kept gathering together and formed a cloud vortex. In the vortex, a treasure ship appeared. The ship was exquisitely carved and looked extraordinary. There was a silk banner fluttering at the bow of the ship. On the banner, there was the word Ni. That was the ship of one of the gods of the realm of the gods, Diao. There was also a handsome male servant standing at the bow of the ship. Looking at his delicate features and good constitution, one could tell at a glance that he was from the realm of the gods. This servant was Diao's eldest disciple, Ching Chung. He received a message from his master to send a statue of faith over. It was said that it would be delivered yesterday morning, but the Beast King's messenger was still not there. He had to wait for a few days. Seeing the Beast King's messenger at this time, Ching Cheng's face was inevitably a little unhappy. He was from the realm of the gods and was ordered to deliver something. That subordinate of the Beast King dared to make him wait for so long. If it was not for his master's sake, he would have left long ago. Sir Messenger, I'm really sorry. Something happened on the way, so I was late. The Beast King's messenger had dealt with people from the realm of the gods and knew that these so-called messengers were very proud. He respectfully led Ching Chung and flew in the direction of the sun-beckoning pavilion. The statue of faith is on the ship. I'll leave after delivering it. The human realm is indeed a filthy place. I feel uncomfortable all over if I stay a little longer. Ching Cheng's face was full of arrogance. Don't worry. As long as you confirm that the statue of faith is correct, you can leave. If you want to go to the human realm in the future, you can come to the sun-beckoning pavilion at any time. The Beast King's messenger fawned. A statue was brought out. If Jiao was a god, his character and strength were not very good, but his carving skills were indeed outstanding in the realm of the gods. This new statue was exactly the same as the one Yun Sheng and the others saw in the Beast King Temple. It seemed that the statue in the Beast King Temple was also made by Jiao. When the Beast King's messenger saw the statue of faith, his eyes lit up. After carefully inspecting it, he showed a satisfied expression. But at this time, Ching Cheng's expression suddenly changed. Stop! Where is my master now? Not many people in the realm of the gods knew that Jiao liked to go to the human realm privately. As for his purpose in going to the human realm, as his eldest disciple, Ching Chung also vaguely knew a little. It was just that Jiao usually stayed in the human realm for a day and a night at most. This time, although his master ordered people to deliver the statue of faith as usual, the statue was delivered, but Jiao himself had not returned to the realm of the gods. Ching Chung had just received the news, and he could not help but be suspicious. You said that Lord I has not returned to the realm of the gods? That's impossible. Logically speaking, Rongyang should have sent back the things that Lord I bought with him. When the Beast King's messenger heard this, he could not help but change his expression. He felt that something was wrong. He quickly ordered people to contact Rongyang in the moon-embracing pavilion, but this time there was no news from Rongyang. Could it be that something happened to Rongyang? The Beast King's messenger and Ching Chung both showed an incredulous expression. Lord Messenger, don't worry, I will take you to the moon-embracing pavilion. The Beast King's messenger thought for a while and decided to take people directly to the moon-embracing pavilion to look for Jiao. Because there was still some distance between the moon-embracing pavilion and the sun-beckoning pavilion, Ching Chung decided to drive the boat directly to the moon-embracing pavilion. When the boat was moving quickly, the Beast King's messenger and Ching Chung did not notice that a figure, a short god, had quietly sneaked onto the boat. Chapter 1293. Needless to say, the person who sneaked up was Yun Sheng. Yun Sheng got the help of the mythical beast Rue and successfully got rid of the people in the Zhaori Pavilion. When the messenger of the King of Beasts entered the Sea of Clouds, Yun Sheng had already followed behind. When she found the magic array hidden in the Sea of Clouds, Yun Sheng knew that there must be a magic array that connected the god realm and the human realm. The people of the King of Beasts were really daring. They even dared to set up a magic array that connected to the god realm. Yun Sheng already had a faint feeling that there must be a bigger secret hidden in it. When the treasure ship appeared, Yun Sheng was also taken aback. Compared to that treasure ship from the god realm, Those empty ships that Yun Sheng had on the boundless continent earlier could be said to pale in comparison. What made Yun Sheng even more surprised was that this ship from the god realm actually had a statue of faith. But in this way, Yun Sheng knew where those statues of faith in the Beast King Temple came from. After boarding the ship, the messenger of the King of Beasts and the messenger of God didn't notice that there was one more person on the ship. The treasure ship from the god realm was naturally much faster than the empty ship that Yun Sheng had taken before. Under the effect of the two large-scale wind magic arrays at the stern, the treasure ship only flew for half a day and arrived at the location of the moon-embracing building. After observing, Yun Sheng found out that the moon-embracing building and the Zhaori Pavilion were both located on a high mountain, but the moon-embracing building was located on the west side. Looking at the mountain, the location was more secretive than the Zhaori Pavilion. The messenger of the King of Beasts and the messenger of God were already standing at the bow of the ship. When the treasure ship descended, the eyes of the messenger of the King of Beasts changed slightly. The original location of the moon-embracing building was covered in thick smoke and had turned into ashes. Not to mention Nie Diao. Even Rong Yang and the others didn't see anyone. "Bastard, where is Master?" Seeing such a scene, Qing Cheng was very excited. He looked around, but unexpectedly, he didn't find any trace of Master's aura. His heart suddenly became cold. There was only one possibility for his master's whereabouts to be unknown, and Nie Jiao was already dead. When the Beast King's messenger saw that the moon embracing and had been reduced to ashes, he was also furious. He also found many corpses in the ashes, including Rong Yang's. Damn it! Who is it that dares to kill the Beast King's subordinate? The Beast King's emissary's face darkened. You must give us an explanation for this matter. Otherwise, I'll have to demand an explanation from 4 Cardinal Divinity. Qing Cheng flew into a rage when he couldn't find Nie Diao's body. Divine Messenger, don't worry. I have my ways to find the culprit. The messenger of the Beast King looked at the charred ruins with a cold look in his eyes. He chanted a few times, and dozens of black rays of light shot out from the ashes. Taking a closer look, that black light was the mysterious black talisman that Bobo had seen in the Canvas Moon restaurant. These black talisman papers could not be burned even if oil was poured on them. Bobo had thought that the Canvas Moon restaurant had been destroyed with a fire, but she didn't expect that the Canvas Moon restaurant was still hiding such mysterious black talismans. When those black talismans fell to the ground, they turned into divine soldiers wearing masks. These divine soldiers, although they didn't breathe like humans, but under the masks, there were 2 rays of light that shot out, and they looked like living people. The Beast King's emissary whispered to one of the black talisman divine soldiers for a while, and his expression became dignified. "How is it? Have you found the culprit?" Qing Cheng urged. "We have found the culprit. They shouldn't have run far. We will catch up with them soon." The Beast King's emissary laughed. Earlier, when he saw the Canvas Moon restaurant burn to the ground, he was extremely angry. But after he found out the culprit from the divine soldiers, he showed a strange smile. This time, it was really a big loss. He didn't expect that the mortal world universe god who had been missing for so many years would appear in the Canvas Moon restaurant, and she was the one who killed Nie Diao. The Beast King had always been looking for her whereabouts. If they could capture her this time, the Beast King would definitely be very happy, and he would definitely not pursue the matter of the Canvas Moon restaurant. The Beast King's emissary, Qing Cheng, and the others immediately boarded the treasure ship from the Divine World and flew down the mountain. "Hurry up, after we cross this mountain, we should be in Yudu." Between the lofty mountains and precipitous ridges, close to 100 figures were struggling to escape forward. Among these people, there were men and women, and there were also some children. They looked very flustered. These people were the ones who were locked up in the Canvas Moon restaurant with Bobo and the others. After Bobo and Little Ing killed Nie Jiao and burned down the Canvas Moon restaurant, they were also worried. They decided to escape first. But after Bobo and Little Ing brought along these people, their speed slowed down a lot. Especially since the Canvas Moon restaurant was originally built on top of a mountain. There were no spaceships or flying beasts, and the mountain roads were very difficult to travel. They rushed for a day and a night, but they only crossed 2 mountains. Little Ying, if we continue like this, we will be caught soon. Because of the long journey, Bobo's little face was flushed red. Bobo, why don't you go first? Little Ying's physical strength was much weaker than Bobo's. Little Ying also knew that Bobo could transform into wings and fly away. If she was caught, it would be because of her and the others. I won't leave you behind. Everyone, hurry up. If we don't escape this time, what awaits us is death. Bobo raised her voice. Those children, men, and women who were caught by the Canvas Moon restaurant were in a daze because they were under the illusion of the Dream Otter. Now that they woke up, they knew that they were in danger. When they heard that they were going to be caught, all of them were scared out of their wits. They didn't care about their fatigue and rushed with all their might. But how could 2 feet compare to the treasure ship of the divine world? Around noon, a dark cloud suddenly floated across the originally clear sky. When they realized that there was something wrong with the sky, Bobo and Little Ying looked up. In the sky, a treasured ship that was the size of 2 or 3 houses flew over while riding the wind and breaking the waves. Not good, it's the pursuers. Little Ying's face paled. Bobo also opened her eyes wide, but there wasn't the slightest bit of fear on her face. When she killed Jiao, Bobo knew that she had chosen a path that went against the path of the divine world. The treasure ship quickly landed with an astonishing momentum. Those people who escaped from the Canvas Moon restaurant fled in all directions. Little Ying was also scared to the point that her face paled. But when she saw that Bobo didn't run away, and instead stood in place with a determined face, her heart couldn't help but surge with unprecedented courage. Bobo, I will accompany you. If we live together. If we die together. Little Ying walked forward and grabbed Bobo's hand. Okay, we live and die together. Bobo's heart warmed as she said in a crisp voice. Chapter 1294. Are you the ones who burned down the lunar pavilion? Even with the secret report from the Black Talisman divine weapon, when the Beast King's messenger found out that the ones who burned down the moon embracing restaurant and killed Jiao were actually 2 little kids, he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. The messenger of the Beast King still remembered Bobo and Little Ying. Weren't these 2 little girls who he had captured from a city? At that time, he only thought that the 2 little girls were clever and cute, and because of Jiao's taste, he captured them. Who would have thought that these 2 little girls would cause the destruction of the lunar embracing brothel? It was really a moment of carelessness, and 2 jinxes had appeared. Next to him, Jiao's eldest disciple, Ching, was also hesitant. Did these 2 cute little Lolas kill Master? I killed him, and I set the fire. Why? Do you have a problem with that? Bobo was not afraid at all. Her little face was as cold as ice, and there was only coldness in her eyes. There were more pursuers than she had expected. Moreover, she saw dozens of soldiers behind the messenger of the Beast King. These soldiers were emitting an aura that Bobo hated. Even if Bobo had the help of the divine sickle, it would be difficult for her to defeat so many people at once. You little brat who doesn't know what's good for you. Wait, there's a fluctuation of divine power on your body. Jiao's eldest disciple, Ching, seemed to have discovered something as his eyelids twitched. Ching was from the realm of the gods. Naturally, he was more sensitive to divine power than ordinary people. He just realized that this little girl with rare hair and who looked exactly like a human had an obvious fluctuation of divine power in her body. This fluctuation was obviously much weaker than that of an ordinary master god in the realm of the gods. However, the aura was very pure, and it was definitely divine power. It seemed that this child had just transformed into a human, and her divine body had just been born. Everyone in the realm of the gods knew that the strength of a god at this stage was the most unstable. At the same time, it was also the easiest for them to be devoured. Lord Messenger of the Gods, don't underestimate this little girl. Her true identity is that of a world god in the mortal realm. However, things are different now. She's just an abandoned god now. The messenger of the Beast King chuckled as he sized Bobo up. He had already found out from the soldiers that Bobo was the one who burned down the lunar pavilion and killed Rongyang and Nidiao. The words abandoned deity made the Beast King and the divine envoy's eyes light up with greed. Anyone who knew a little about the realm would know what an abandoned god was. Abandoned god was a god who was exiled to another realm after he committed god. Of the god had committed a grave sins god. He god had god of the gods. However, the abandoned god still possessed a divine body. As long as one could obtain a divine body, anyone in the god realm who was not yet a core god, or any race in the human realm, or even magical beasts, could become a god. Whether it was the Beast King's messenger or Nidiao's first disciple, although they were somewhat related to the divine realm, they were not true overgods in the end. If they wanted to become overgods, they would need to go through hundreds or even thousands of years of cultivation. However, they were not gods in the end, and their lifespans were at most 500 years, so they were unable to become gods. But if they could get an abandoned god's divine body, it would be a different story. In their eyes, Bobo was like a piece of Tang Sanzang's meat. So what if you're abandoned god? You two are not even soldiers. You can't do anything to me. Bobo snorted coldly. Her small hands could not help but clench into fists. She hated the messenger of the Beast King and Qing Cheng's eyes. These people were not good people, especially when she heard the words abandoned god. Bobo's heart could not help but twitch. She also knew what the abandoned god meant. She had been abandoned. This matter had been stabbing Bobo's heart all the time. In fact, Nidiao was right before he died. It was best for Bobo to leave the mortal realm and go to the underworld. Perhaps with the protection of Ming's son, she could avoid the fate of being hunted down. In the past, Bobo might have done so without hesitation. At that time, she was weak and needed protection. She only knew how to hide behind Mother Goddess and Ming's Sunday. But after her adventure in the mortal realm, Bobo was different from before. She was not willing to be a burden to Ming's Sunday. That's not necessarily true. Lord Messenger, why don't we join forces? After we get the divine body, we can split it 50-50. This way, we can greatly increase our chances of becoming gods. The messenger of the Beast King could not help but lick his lips. He had already begun to imagine the wonderful taste of Bobo's divine body. The messenger of the Beast King secretly thought that it was fortunate that Nidiao was dead. Otherwise, he would not have the chance to get a new body. Little Ying, stand aside. Bobo could also see that the two of them were up to no good. Her small body suddenly soared into the sky. The two divine sickles turned into a pink hurricane. The hurricane's momentum was very shocking. It made it impossible for people to get close. Black Talisman soldiers, go! The messenger of the Beast King had come prepared. At his command, dozens of Black Talisman soldiers behind him shot out like dozens of arrows. Bobo looked at the divine soldiers whose momentum had skyrocketed. There was some surprise in her eyes. She could feel that the energy fluctuations on the Black Talisman soldiers were very similar to the previous Black Talisman. They were all surging with divine power. Kill! The Black Talisman soldiers let out a furious roar, and divine bows appeared in their hands. Then the divine bows flashed. Divine arrows condensed on the bowstrings. In an instant, countless arrows rained down on Bobo like a torrential rain. Bobo did not dare to underestimate the enemy. Her small face tensed up. Her body spun like a top. The two sickles protected her body. The divine soldiers also seemed to have spiritual consciousness. The bows in their hands gathered together. Boom! The earth shook. It was as if the entire mountain range was going to be razed to the ground. Countless divine bows gathered together to form a black python. The python opened its ferocious mouth. Like a tumbling flood, it blasted toward Bobo. The pink hurricane and the black python collided, forming a powerful energy fluctuation. The children and little Ying who were running in all directions were all sent flying by a huge force. The two forces weakened each other. Bobo's body was sent flying and rolled on the ground. Her pink curly hair scattered messily. Her body was also covered with various wounds. The messenger of the Beast King was delighted. He He was about to summon the divine soldiers to launch the final attack. You really want to hang yourself? You don't want to live anymore. How dare you touch my people? A somewhat mocking voice made the messenger of the Beast King and the divine messenger, who thought that victory was in their hands, stop smiling. Chapter 1295. Hearing that voice, Popo and little Ing were dumbfounded. They looked at the source of the voice in disbelief. A fiery light shot out from the treasure ship behind the Beast King's emissary, Enchanting, charging towards the dozens of black talisman soldiers. The messenger of the Beast King and Enchanting stared at the flame with their mouths agape. The flame was dazzling, like a scorching sun. It stung their eyes. The flame was fierce and fast. In the blink of an eye, it had reached them. Looking carefully, there was a person in the flame. It was a young lady, like a phoenix bathing in fire. She walked out of the flame slowly. She was wearing a moon-white doctor's robe. Her smile was like a blooming summer lotus. She was alone, but it felt like she was the moon surrounded by stars. The most terrifying thing was the flame beside her. Wherever the flame passed, even the boulders were burned to ashes. However, the lady in the flame didn't seem to feel anything. The lady walked over leisurely. She was like a sun emitting light and heat, especially her eyes. It was as if she could ignite a person with just one look. Facing the murderous black talisman soldiers, the lady didn't seem to care. She only glanced at Popo and little Ing. After making sure that they were fine, she looked around and stared at the messenger of the Beast King and Enchanting. What's going on? Where did this person come from? Enchanting was shocked to see someone jump out of the treasure ship. He didn't know that there was a person hiding on the treasure ship. If you want to snatch Popo's divine body, you have to ask me first. Enchanting raised her eyebrows and sneered. Enchanting always paid attention to being sure of victory. She had the chance to deal with the messenger of the Beast King and Enchanting on the treasure ship. However, she wanted to know more secrets. That was why she hid in the dark. As expected, she heard a lot of things. When the treasure ship caught up with Popo and the others, she heard everything that Popo and the messenger of the Beast King and the others said. As it turned out, Bo's world deity position was threatened, and the mortal world deity had another strong competitor. However, unlike the last time, Enchanting wasn't in a hurry to help when Bo was attacked. She also wanted to see how long Bo could last by himself. The incident of the universe god in the mortal world also made Enchanting realize that she had spoiled Bo too much. Whether it was in the mortal world or the divine world, the survival of the strong and the elimination of the weak was the only law. Luckily, Bo's performance was a lot better than Enchanting had expected. It was only at the last moment when Bo could no longer hold on that Enchanting made a move. How dare he hit her people? Courting death. Enchanting's eyes turned sharp, and the divine lotus hellfire beside her turned into dozens of streaks, rushing towards those divine weapons like shooting stars. Those divine weapons were formed from mysterious black talismans, but in terms of their origin, they were still black talismans. In the mortal world, they could be considered invincible, and even divine weapons could hardly hurt them. However, today, they just had to meet Enchanting, who had the divine lotus hellfire. Once the hellfire touched those black divine weapons, it ignited. The dozens of black divine weapons made crackling sounds as they burned, and immediately turned into pieces of talisman paper, ignited, and fell from the sky. That fire was actually able to burn the black talisman divine weapon of the god realm to nothing. Enchanting didn't know who Enchanting was, but the messenger of the Beast King knew. Although the appearance was different, that voice, the messenger of the universe, God's face, twitched fiercely. It was her. This woman was the female miracle doctor that he had recruited into the Zhao Ri Pavilion earlier. He clearly saw that Enchanting didn't have any aura or magic fluctuation. So how could she release such a powerful flame all of a sudden? And what's with the intense magic fluctuations around her? Damn it, he actually made mistakes one after another. Not only did he capture a universe god from the mortal world, he even provoked such a female fiend. After using the divine lotus hellfire to force back the divine weapons, Yunsheng swept to the front of Popo and little Ying. You too. Did you eat leopard guts? Murder? Arson? Who did you learn this from? So young and bad. Yunsheng was angry and amused at the same time. Looking at these two little guys, their bodies were wounded and their clothes were dirty. These two little fellows really made her worry sick. Learn from you, Popo and little Ying said in unison. Yunsheng rolled her eyes. These two little brats were really lawless, but it seemed that if she thought about it carefully, they did learn from her. Cough, cough, all right, don't learn good things and bad things. But you're not good at learning, so I have to help you deal with the aftermath. This is not good. Look carefully. If you want to kill, you have to kill them until they cry for their parents and not leave a single one alive. As Yunsheng said, her eyes suddenly turned cold and stared at the messenger of the Beast King and the messenger of God. Both of them shuddered. This woman, although not a god, had a suppressive force on her, which made people feel as if they were facing a god. Humph! No matter who you are, you offended the Master Beast King, so only death awaits you. The messenger of the Beast King sneered and suddenly took out a bottle. In the bottle, a viscous black blood was poured out, and the black blood sprayed on the ashes of the black talismans. On the ground, the dozens of black talisman soldiers that had been burned to ashes by Yunsheng's divine lotus hellfire suddenly came back to life. Their ashes gathered together in an instant. Yunsheng's expression changed slightly. After the black talisman ashes were stained with the blood, there was a strange change. The paper gathered together, and the blood vessels and muscles kept growing. First, an arm appeared, and gradually, legs and a torso appeared, and then a body. In just a moment, the ashes had already formed a black humanoid figure. The humanoid figure reeked of blood and gave off a terrifying aura. Dear Master, that's a divine weapon of the realm of the gods. But looking at the situation, the bottle seems to contain some medicinal blood. After the divine weapon of the divine weapon was stained with the medicinal blood, it evolved, and I'm afraid it has become even more difficult to deal with. Bobo's little face was full of nervousness. Evolved? Yunsheng couldn't help but frown. Don't underestimate these divine weapons. If they evolve properly, they can evolve into divine generals. A divine general possesses the strength of an overgod. Bobo didn't know who was behind the messenger of the Beast King to have such a powerful person. Comparable to a god? Only then did Yunsheng realize how troublesome the big guy she was about to face was. At least you have some foresight. That's right, this new divine weapon is not ordinary. It has evolved into a divine general. The messenger of the Beast King laughed proudly. Boom! The moment the messenger of the Beast King finished speaking, the divine weapon of the black talisman had finished its evolution. It stood in front of Yunsheng, Bobo, and the others like a towering mountain. See that the protest night fox is not going to appear. Calm down. She will appear. Then, it will be the husband and wife struggle, laying eggs. I've missed the day to have babies, and the day to strive for sexual bliss. At the end of the month, please spend your votes. Also, thank you to all the cute girls and little shotas for your tips and subscriptions. Chapter 1296. Under the effect of the medicinal blood, Black Talisman Ashes had become a new Black Talisman Divine General. The Divine General was about 5 or 6 meters tall. He held a blood-red sword, and his body was covered in dark red blood. His eyes shone with red light, like a starving beast trapped in a cage. The Black Talisman Divine General took a step forward with heavy steps. With one step, it was as if the earth was shaking and the mountains were shaking. A hole several meters deep immediately appeared on the ground. What a terrifying power. Yunsheng was secretly shocked. Divine General, kill these ants from the mortal realm, the messenger of the Beast King shouted in triumph. King of the evil spirits, meet the enemy. The king of the evil spirits appeared behind Yunsheng at the same time. The king of the evil spirits' eyes were red. He punched out, and a gust of evil spirits rushed toward the Black Talisman Divine General like a storm. In the next moment, the Black Talisman Divine General waved the sword in his hand. The sword wind was earth-shattering. It tore apart the evil spirits and stabbed toward the king of the evil spirits. The king of the evil spirits knew the power of the sword. After protecting his body, he looked serious and let out an angry roar. All of a sudden, its enormous body split into many parts, and countless evil ghosts and spirits attacked the Black Talisman Divine weapon. The Black Talisman Divine General waved the sword. Divine power overflowed. Before the evil spirits could get close, they were turned into wisps of smoke. Even the king of the evil spirits was no match for her. Yunsheng's face darkened. She jumped up, and several divine lotus hellfire appeared on her fingertips. The hellfire turned into fireballs and smashed at the Black Talisman Divine General's feet like raindrops. The ground immediately turned into a crimson sea of fire. Scorching tongues of karmic fire continuously spat out in an attempt to devour the Divine General of Black Talisman. It's useless. The Divine General has been tempered by the medicinal blood. His skin is no longer black. So, what if you have the Divine Fire? You can't do anything to the Black Talisman Divine General. In the eyes of the messenger of the Beast King, Yunsheng's actions were like an ant trying to shake a tree. It was ridiculous. Yunsheng was just a human. So what if she had the Divine Lotus Hellfire? Sure enough, the Black Talisman Divine General stepped on the Divine Fire and was as steady as a mountain. A pair of black wings suddenly sprouted from his back, and he flew into the air. Pooh! The Black Talisman Divine General turned his gaze and saw Yunsheng. He suddenly swung his blood-colored great sword at Yunsheng. That sword was astonishingly fast. Master, be careful! Master, be careful! Popo and Little Ying felt like their guts were about to burst. Yunsheng's heart skipped a beat. Out of the blue, a five-colored light shone from her beast language ring, and the 1,000-year-old ice zither flew out, spinning. Asterisk clang. Asterisk, as if two metals had collided. A string of sparks shot out. Divine General Black Talisman's blood-colored broadsword had instantly penetrated the 1,000-year-old ice zither. Being blocked by Ice Harp, the big sword was stuck on Ice Harp. The sharp sword tip was only half an inch away from Yunsheng's chest. Tiske, you dare to destroy my zither. The 1,000-year-old ice zither was forged by her mother, Hu Jiusheng, and Yunsheng. Yunsheng cherished it very much and rarely used it. Who would have thought that it would be pierced by this bullshit Black Talisman Divine General sword today? To Yunsheng, injuring Bing Qin with a sword was like injuring herself. Seeing this scene, Yunsheng's eyes turned sharp. She grabbed the ice zither and raised her 10 fingers. A thunderous sound flowed out from her fingers, and the Shinnong medical bracelet on her wrist strangely emitted a blood-colored light. Under her fingers, the sound of the zither was sonorous and powerful. It was like the howling of the wind, like an army with thousands of men and horses, filled with murderous intent. An indescribable mysterious pressure gradually formed behind Yunsheng. The Black Talisman Divine General, who was attacking, suddenly paused. The messenger of the Beast King and Qing Cheng were even more dumbfounded. They saw a figure appear behind the ant-like human. It was a man standing with his hands behind his back. He wore a golden dragon robe, and 9 fire dragons circled around him. The man's appearance was not clear, but the terrifying Emperor's aura that was enough to shake the heavens and earth made all living things within 100 miles feel like they were crawling on the ground. That's... The messenger of the Beast King and Qing Cheng were already unable to withstand the terrifying pressure. They became soft-footed shrimps, and with 2 plopping sounds, they knelt on the ground. The god Emperor's aura. Just a glimpse of it was enough to shock all the sovereigns in the sky. The 8th chapter of the Dihong song, the pinnacle of the song. The god Emperor's aura suddenly appeared. Crack, crack, crack. Under the god Emperor's aura, the Black Talisman Divine General fell limp like mud. The messenger of the Beast King didn't even have time to scream before he felt a chill on his neck. He saw that his head was separated from his body, and then everything fell into darkness. Boss Peng and the Elven Queen arrived in time. Their eyes were filled with reverence as they watched the God Emperor's figure in the sky gradually disappear. The terrifying God Emperor's aura suppressed the black talisman, Divine General. Almost at the same time, the 1,000-year-old ice zither in Yun Sheng's hand could not withstand the pressure and broke into 2 pieces. The moment the zither broke, the God Emperor's figure also disappeared. Old ancestor, this time, you have helped me again. Yun Sheng looked at the remains of the ice zither. While feeling emotional, she also felt very emotional. Just the back view of an Emperor God expert was able to kill the divine General Black Talisman, who was a Lord God. One could only imagine how terrifying the real Flame Emperor of Shinnong or Emperor Jiu Yin of the Divine World was. Master, the other people in the Sun Beckoning Pavilion have been killed. Only this guy is left. What do you plan to do with him? Boss Peng and the Elven Queen followed Yun Sheng all the way. Under Yun Sheng's orders, they washed the entire Sun Beckoning Pavilion with blood. My lords, please spare my life. Qing Cheng had originally thought that the other party was just an ant from the mortal world. Who would have thought that this human had hidden his strength so well that he could perform an ancient divine song that even a sovereign god couldn't play and attract the might of a god emperor? Qing Cheng did not dare to fight anymore. His legs were shaking like noodles as he knelt in front of Yun Sheng and the others and begged for mercy. This person is very annoying. Why don't we just kill him? Boss Peng hated people like Qing Cheng who fawned over others the most. Moreover, this person was with the Beast King and the others, so he must be the same kind of person. Don't be impulsive. He still has some uses. Yun Sheng rolled her eyes and looked at Qing Cheng. She had hidden on the ship just now and heard it very clearly. That's right. This person is Nie Diao's disciple. He'll be very useful if we keep him. Bobo also glared at Qing Cheng fiercely, but she did not kill him. She also had some more thoughts in her eyes. Becoming an abandoned god was a big blow to Bobo. However, there were pros and cons as well. It also made Bobo grow a lot. Since the so-called universe god candidate could use Nie Diao, why couldn't she, Bobo, use Nie Diao's disciple and frame that person instead? Chapter 1297. The subtle changes in Popo's heart were all seen by Yun Sheng. Unlike ordinary summoners and life-bonded beasts, for Yun Sheng, Popo was no ordinary magical beast. Yun Sheng could clearly feel Popo's pain. What she could do now was to help Popo rebuild his confidence. Whether the other party was a god or a demon, as long as Popo was hurt, Yun Sheng would kill him without hesitation. Popo is right. This person is still very useful. The matter of world gods has not been decided yet. If I'm not wrong, the Beast King is not an official world god yet. Popo and him still have a chance. And this person will become a very important bargaining chip for us, Yun Sheng said. Yun Sheng thought about it. That treasure ship was something from the divine realm. If she wanted to use it for herself, she needed someone who knew the ropes. More importantly, Yun Sheng and Popo both wanted to find out about the belief statue through Qing Cheng. Qing Cheng was forced into a corner and could only be escorted onto the ship by Boss Peng Yu. Let me ask you, how is this belief statue used? What does the Beast King want to do with it? Yun Sheng pointed to the brand new belief statue on the ship. The belief statue is used to collect the power of belief. This belief statue, made by Master, has a small conversion magic array inside. As long as enough power of belief is collected, the belief statue can convert the power of belief into divine power. Qing Cheng was not willing to say, but he was frightened by Boss Peng Yu's fierce eyes and immediately told her everything. After listening, Yun Sheng stepped forward and checked the belief statue. Sure enough, inside the belief statue, Yun Sheng found a very mysterious conversion magic array. This was Nie Diao's special point. Nie Diao's divine power was weak and could not even compare to Popo. Back then, he was able to get the favor of divine four directions by virtue of his special carving skills and was promoted to a master god. However, After Nie Diao became a chief god, the four cardinal divinity forbade him from casually making statues of faith to prevent him from misusing his special ability, let alone selling them to the mortal world. A statue of faith made by Nie Diao could continuously absorb the power of faith for 10 years and convert it into divine power. It can convert the power of faith into divine power? Ever since Bo Bo found out that she had become an abandoned god, she had been a little depressed. Now that she heard Qing Cheng's words, her eyes lit up a little. In other words, as long as she had enough statues of faith, it meant that she could also obtain an endless stream of divine power. But even if I have divine power, it's useless. I've already been abandoned. She thought of something and lowered her little head again. That look made people feel that she was very pitiful. You're wrong. Bo Bo, if the other party is really a world deity, why would he sneakily use the statues of faith to obtain godly power? I'm guessing that the so-called Beast King is still in a waiting state like you. The two of you can still compete fairly, Yunsheng said with certainty. That's right. All world deities have a boundary seal. Bo Bo's boundary seal is still hidden on her body. Mother God also did not order anyone to take away my boundary seal. Bo Bo's eyes were shining. After listening to her master's analysis, she felt a little more confident. My lords, actually, I've heard a little about the world deities. Lord Bo Bo and Lord Beast King are both candidates for the world deity position. Although Divine Four Directions had no way to stop the selection of candidates for the new world deity position, it was said that she had a big quarrel with the other Divine Four Directions. In the end, the Divine Four Directions made the other Divine Four Directions compromise. The candidates from both sides will compete fairly. Whoever wins the hearts of the people in the mortal world will be the true world deity. On the side, Qing Cheng, in order to save his life and curry favor with the two of them, told them all the gossip he had heard from Nie Diao. Although the so-called Beast King had not taken office yet, the Master Gods, including Nie Diao, all believed that Bo Bo, who did not have the strength, did not have the support of her clan, and did not have the help of Divine Four Directions and Underworld God, could never defeat the Beast King. That was why they were so certain that Bo Bo was already a deity. Let me ask you, how many statues of faith did Nie Diao sell to the Beast King? Hearing Qing Cheng's words, Yunsheng finally understood why the Beast King would go through so much trouble to establish the moon-embracing tower and the sun-beckoning pavilion, and use dirty means to collude with Nie Diao in exchange for the statues of faith. Including this one, there are a total of 11. The previous 10 have already been transferred to the 8 desolates one after another. It's hard to take them back now. Qing Cheng was Nie Diao's last disciple. He was very clear about the dirty tricks of Nie Diao and the Beast King. He was also in charge of the previous 10 statues of the Beast King. Then is there any way to destroy those statues of faith and destroy the creation of new divine power? Yunsheng questioned. I'm afraid this matter is a little tricky. If we go to the Beast King temples and destroy the statues of faith, I'm afraid we will attract public anger. You are Nie Diao's last disciple. Do you have any ideas? Yunsheng said as she touched her chin and looked at Qing Cheng with a treacherous expression. Yunsheng had been to the Beast King temple in Wu City. The people of Wu City had great respect for the Beast King. Yunsheng was not a fool. Whoever wins the hearts of the people wins the world. Needless to say, she was here to pacify the hearts of the people and collect the power of faith. Destroying the statues of faith was tantamount to singing a different tune from the people. Therefore, if force did not work, she could only use words. Qing Cheng's scalp went numb from Yunsheng's stare. This miss, my skills are not good, there's no way. Qing Cheng still wanted to evade. Not good? I have some corpse rotting water. I don't mind turning you into a pool of corpse water. Yunsheng curled her lips, and a bottle of potion appeared in her hand. Spare my life, great aunt. This little one will kowtow to you. Let this little one think about it. There will definitely be a way. Qing Cheng cursed his bad luck in his heart. It was also his bad luck that the statue of faith fell into the hands of this she-devil. He really did not understand how this woman could obtain the protection of the god Emperor's divine might. Soon, Qing Cheng thought of a way. Actually, I really do have a way to transfer the Beast King's power of faith to Lord Bobo. Qing Cheng was able to become the last disciple of an Diao because he knew how to take advantage of the situation. In order to save his life, he proposed two very good methods. The first method was to tamper with the magic array inside the Statue of Faith and change the transmission of divine power. As for the second method, it was to change the hearts of the people and make them no longer worship that rotten Beast King. Chapter 1298. That Qing Cheng didn't have a good character, but he was quite smart. Yunxing thought about the two methods he came up with and felt that they were feasible. The first method wasn't difficult with Qing Cheng around. As long as they monitored him and tampered with the 10 statues of faith that had already spread to Yudu, they would be able to do it. But the second method would have to rely on Bobo and Yunsheng. The second method isn't actually that difficult to handle. The Beast King has only risen in the past few years, and it has only spread to a small area like Yudu. It hasn't expanded to the entire Celestial Fox tribe, so its influence is limited. Yunsheng thought for a moment and quickly made a decision in her heart. She was now here as the Celestial Fox Saintess. As long as she did good deeds in the local area and established the prestige of the Celestial Fox Saintess, not only would she be able to complete her mission, but she would also be able to attack the Beast King's forces, killing two birds with one stone. The reason why the Beast King was respected was because he had eradicated magical beasts for the people, defended the city, and done many so-called good deeds. However, these were only good deeds on the surface. As for the bad deeds he had done behind his back, they had always been hidden and unknown to the people. This time, the Moon Pavilion and the Sun Beckoning Pavilion had been cleared out. Yunsheng, Bobo, and the others had rescued a portion of the hostages. As long as they were sent back to their respective cities, the truth would naturally be revealed. In the remaining months, Yunsheng was confident that she could uproot the Beast King's forces in the Yudu area. Yunsheng and Bobo brought Qing Cheng and the kidnapped people of Yudu and immediately boarded the treasure ship and rushed back to a city. After Yunsheng's treatment, the kidnapped men, women, and children also regained their consciousness and returned to their homes one after another. As these people returned home, the ugly face of the Beast King was also revealed. Bad news spread thousands of miles. In just 10 days, the people in Yudu were in turmoil. The people's respect for the Beast King weakened a lot. The Beast King temple, which had been full of incense, suddenly became deserted. Under Yunsheng's coercion, Qing Cheng went to the Beast King temple in the city. That's the statue of the Beast King's faith. Do it. Remember, don't play any tricks. Otherwise, you'll end up like your master, Yunsheng said coldly. How could Qing Cheng dare to say no? In his eyes, Yunsheng was someone who had the protection of an emperor god. No matter how strong the Beast King was, he was only an over-god. How could he compare to the Emperor Huiyin, who was an emperor god? He obediently walked forward, took out a carving knife, and lightly dug at the base of the Beast King statue. At the base of the statue, a piece of clay fell off. Magical light flickered on the surface of the clay. There was a magical array. It was the conversion magic array with special functions drawn by Diao that Qing Cheng had mentioned earlier. It was unknown what Qing Cheng did to the conversion magic array, but after a while, the conversion magic array dimmed down. Lord Bobo, can I borrow your blood? Qing Cheng stole a glance at Yunsheng and Bobo. What are you doing? Don't you dare have any bad intentions? Bobo glared at him. Lord Bobo, I'm innocent. This little one wants to help you. To tell you the truth, this little one has followed my master for a few hundred years. I'm quite familiar with the conversion magic array. As long as you use Lord Bobo's blood to draw a new magic array, this faith statue will be yours. In the future, the divine energy it absorbs will all belong to you, Qing Cheng said carefully. He only wanted to curry favor with this big and small female fiend so that he could escape as soon as possible. Really? Yunsheng and Bobo were delighted when they heard this. Of course, this little one is confident. Qing Cheng's face was sincere. It didn't seem like he was lying. Master, Why don't you use your and Bobo's blood to draw this magic array? Bobo raised her cute little face and stared at Yunsheng. That won't do. Bobo, this faith statue belongs to you. Furthermore, using the conversion magic array to convert faith statue to divine energy is only for gods. Yunsheng didn't want to take advantage of Bobo. She only wanted Bobo to grow stronger and make that beast king scram out of the human world. That's right, Lord Bobo. Faith statue doesn't have much use for humans. It's only useful for master gods and gods above master gods. When Qingcheng heard that Bobo wanted to share his faith statue with Yunsheng, he was also shocked. Every master god was eager to obtain more divine energy. This world god Wei Gang was actually stupid enough to want to share his divine energy? Bobo, it's too lonely to be a god alone. Bobo wants to be with Master forever. Bobo sniffled. Gods had eternal life, but Master was just a body. When Bobo thought about how she wouldn't be able to see Yunsheng for a long time in the future, her heart tightened. Bobo, you killed an Ai Diao, and you still have his divine body. As long as Master devours Ai Diao's divine body, you can become a demigod. With Master's talent, you can definitely become a god. Master, promise Bobo that you'll become a god with Bobo? Bobo pitifully tugged at Yunsheng's sleeve. Bobo was still a little narrow-minded when she killed Ai Diao that day. She kept Ai Diao's divine body because she wanted to let Master devour it when she met Yunsheng. That way, Master could always be with her. Becoming a god. Countless figures flashed through Yunsheng's mind. Chapter 1299. It was just a short conversation, but for Yunsheng and Popo, it was a promise that would never change. Bobo's heart was touched like never before. Master? Woo. This was the master she was familiar with. Bobo blinked her eyes, trying hard not to let the tears in her eyes roll down. Bobo was still too selfish. Master still had her family and friends. Only by opening the path of the gods could Master and her loved ones become gods together. The path of the gods sounded very far away, but as long as her divine power continued to increase, she would definitely be able to find the path of the gods in the human world. Bobo believed that Master would definitely become a god. Refused? Qingcheng thought he had heard wrong. Was this woman from the human race really going to give up on such a good opportunity? She actually said that she wanted to open the path of the gods by herself. How stupid. In the human world, spiritual energy was scarce. How could there be an existence like the path of the gods? Boy, that divine body is cheap for you, but I want you to swear on your divine body that you will always support Bobo in the future. Otherwise, even if I kill my way to the divine world, I will not leave your bones behind. Yunsheng glanced at Qingcheng from the corner of her eyes. This boy was much better than his wretched master. Bobo did not have much support in the divine world, so it was good to have one more person to support her. My lord, you are not joking. You want to give that divine body to this little one? Qingcheng was suddenly stunned. He stammered, Humph, it doesn't matter if the master doesn't want to give it to you. However, you must leave a wisp of my soul consciousness in your body. Bobo pouted and reluctantly threw the god body to Qingcheng. Master did not doubt the people she used. Since Master felt that this Qingcheng was a talent, Bobo would trust him for the time being. Anyway, as long as there was a trace of her divine sense in Qingcheng's body, if he had any disloyalty, Bobo could kill him anytime. I don't dare. Qingcheng will be loyal to the two lords in this life. Qingcheng knelt down excitedly. For a moment, he did not know what to say. His life experience was pitiful. He was an ordinary god born in the divine world. He had neither family background nor talent. When he was still a child, he was snatched by Ai Diao because of his handsome appearance and followed Ai Diao for hundreds of years. In the past few hundred years, Ai Diao had never thought of getting him a divine body. He had thought that he would only be able to die in the divine realm at the end of his lifespan. Who would have thought that he would obtain such a great opportunity in the mortal realm? Qingcheng immediately took a portion of Bobo's divine blood and tampered with the magic conversion array in the Beast King's Statue of Faith. In the next few days, Boss Peng and Queen Yicha, who had been dispatched by Yun Sheng to various places in Yudu to investigate, also brought back news one after another. In the other 9 places in Yudu, they had also discovered statues of faith. Yun Sheng, Baby Bo, and Qing Cheng traveled nonstop to various places. It took them half a month to secretly swap out all the Beast King statues in the Beast King temples. Alright, this is already the 10th statue of faith. Qing Cheng put the last piece of clay back. After a moment, the 10 magic conversion arrays began to operate at the same time. Pop! Pop! She only felt 11 streams of energy rush into her body. That energy rushed from her limbs and bones all the way to the top of her skull. Master, Bobo feels like something is about to rush out of my body. Bobo's pink little face turned red as if she was drunk. Her eyes also turned red. Bobo, calm down. You haven't been in human form for long, and your body is still weak. The power of faith accumulated in those statues of faith is too much for you to bear. Guard your heart meridians, and I will help you with the rest. Yunsheng also didn't expect that the 10 statues of faith would work at the same time and produce such a large amount of divine power. He could only think of a way to help Bobo get through this difficult time. Hearing Yunsheng's words, Bobo quickly sat down. She tried her best to calm herself down, but waves of powerful power of faith washed over her internal organs, making her feel as if her body was on fire. It was very uncomfortable. Yunsheng raised her hand and stabbed at many major acupoints on Bobo's body. A ray of light flashed on her fingertips, and she forced the power of the Jade Marrow technique into Bobo's acupoints in the form of a hidden needle. Bobo only felt that her body was like being pricked by needles. A cold but very comfortable feeling was constantly entangled with the divine power in her body. The burning feeling in her body was suppressed little by little. Her bones made a crisp sound like beans popping, and a burst of pink light flashed. Bobo, who was only 6 or 7 years old, was constantly growing, like a willow branch after the spring rain, and her posture was constantly changing. Witnessing this scene, no one dared to speak. After half a day, Bobo spat out a mouthful of turbid air. She opened her eyes, and her butterfly-like eyelashes fluttered. A pair of beautiful big eyes swept around. "Dear Master, Bobo is done." Bobo jumped up happily. No one said a word, and they all looked at her strangely. Little Ying, how did you become shorter?" Bobo first noticed little Ying. This girl had always been calling her little sister Bobo because Bobo was shorter than her. But today, Bobo found that little Ying had obviously shrunk. "Bobo, bully!" Little Ying pouted. "It's not me who became shorter. It's you who became bigger." "Became bigger?" Bobo looked at her hands and feet again, and found that her hands and feet, which were originally as tender as lotus roots, had all changed. At this time, Bobo was wearing a lotus-pink gauze dress, and her pink curly hair was casually draped over her body. Her cheeks were evenly red, and her ice skin and jade bones revealed a bit of playfulness and cuteness. She had already become a bright and beautiful girl of 14 or 15 years old. The divine power actually made me grow up all of a sudden. Bobo was wild with joy. She put her hands on her hips and laughed inelegantly. "Smelly Mingri, see? Let's see if you still dare to call me a weakling in the future." When Yun Sheng, little Ying, and the others saw this, they couldn't help but burst out laughing. Bobo was still Bobo. Even if her appearance changed and she grew taller, her temper was still the same. However, when Mingri saw Bobo like this, should he be happy or have a headache? "Cough, cough, Bobo, don't make a fuss. You've absorbed a lot of divine power. Other than your appearance, did you make any other progress? For example, did you learn any new divine skills?" Yun Sheng asked. This was what Yin Sheng was most concerned about. As a world deity, just having an appearance was absolutely not enough. Divine skills? Bobo's smile froze. Chapter 1300. Looking at Bobo's appearance, Yun Sheng's mouth drooped. Bobo, this fellow, it was indeed easy to change mountains and rivers, but hard to change one's nature. When Bobo was still an egg, Yin Sheng had also asked her about it, and she remembered her reaction then was similar to what she was doing now. Bobo, did you absorb all the divine power and use it to grow taller? Yun Sheng had the urge to facepalm. Dear Master, Bobo was just teasing you. Of course I learned a new divine skill. Bobo was proud of herself. My new divine skill is keeping it a secret for now. Everyone was speechless. AI. All right, I admit that I'm still not familiar with the application of my new divine skill. I still need some time to adapt before I can really use it. Don't look down on it. When it can be used, all of you will be begging me to use it. Seeing everyone's speechless expression, Bobo's face turned red. She was anxious to show off. Unfortunately, no one believed Bobo at all. Since the conversion magic formation in the Statue of Faith has been modified, it's time to go to the prefecture of Yudu. We need to think of a way to rebuild the celestial fox temples everywhere. Being interrupted by Bobo's matter, Yunsheng almost missed the official business of this competition of celestial fox saintess. Fortunately, the matter was resolved satisfactorily. In addition, during this period of time, Yunsheng and the rest have been passing by various cities and towns in Yudu, either doing free medical treatment or helping the local people to repel the devil beasts. More or less, they had gained a certain amount of reputation. Now in Yudu, there were fewer and fewer people who supported the Beast King, and the number of people who began to support Celestial Fox Saintess was increasing. Yunsheng planned to bring the Celestial Fox statue to the prefecture of Yudu, Fengyu City, and begin to announce her identity as the Saintess of Celestial Fox through the local city lord's manor. At that time, she could officially start to collect the power of faith that belonged to her. Bobo's breakthrough made Yunsheng's mood very good. Everyone talked and laughed as they boarded the treasure ship. The moment they boarded the ship, Yunsheng suddenly turned her head sharply. You're not going to show yourself? Yunsheng seemed to be muttering to herself. Dearest Master, hurry up, Bobo called out from the boat. Yunsheng shook her head helplessly and boarded the boat. Not long after the treasure ship took off, there was an energy fluctuation in the Beast King temple where everyone was. The son of the underworld appeared. He stood with his hands clasped behind his back as he watched the God Realm's treasured ship soar into the clouds. Bobo, I'm sorry. This time, I can't be by your side. A crack appeared on Ming Ri's cold face, even though he couldn't personally appear in front of Bobo. But these days, the dignified underworld god, underworld son, would follow beside Popo like a shadow. He still remembered Bobo's lovely appearance when she was sleeping soundly. He didn't appear because he was afraid that Popo would be disappointed. But fortunately, Popo had a group of friends who cherished her. Perhaps, with the help of these friends, she could become a qualified world deity. Ming Ri didn't say a word, and his figure disappeared. Half an hour ago, just as Bobo was absorbing divine power and breaking through for the second time, in a place far away from the human world, the God Realm, in a misty, snowy region. On the vast ice and snow continent, an ice castle carved out of ice and snow stood alone. Outside the ice castle, it was snowing like goose feathers all year round. The ice castle was dozens of meters high, and on the ground at the bottom of the castle, there was a huge statue of the Beast King. In the middle of the statue, a magic array was constantly operating. Now that Qing Chung was already a demigod, if he saw this magic array, he would definitely recognize that it was also a conversion magic array. On the magic array, there were 10 wisps of ice-blue flames. The 10 wisps of flames represented the 10 statues of faith that were originally enshrined in the Beast King Temple in Yudu. Since the Beast King and Nie Diao established a partnership, this magic array had been operating for 3 years. In these 3 years, the power of faith had been continuously converted into divine power. What's going on these days? The divine power transmitted from the magic array is getting weaker and weaker. It was a handsome and devilishly handsome man. He stood tall and straight like a statue in the middle of the magic array. The man's white hair was like a waterfall, and under his frosty white eyebrows hid a pair of long and narrow wolf eyes. His thin lips were cold and ruthless, and his whole person was like a cheetah in the night, cold and arrogant, but also aggressive, with a strong aura around him. This person was the young patriarch of the Shi clan, Shi Sanqian, who was competing with Bo Bo for the position of world god. This ice castle was where he was in seclusion, the 3,000 Ice Palace. In the god realm, Shi Sanqian was famous for being cold and ruthless. This person was very ambitious and had a long-term vision. Unlike the other gods who were content with their own territory, Shi Sanqian had long been dissatisfied with the territory of the Shi clan. He had always wanted to expand the territory of the Shi clan, but in the god realm, there were many strong powers, and the strength of the Shi clan was not enough to seize territory from the hands of other gods. Shi Sanqian turned his gaze to the human world, which was a vast territory that the gods of the god realm thought was useless. However, since ancient times, the human world had its own world god. If Shi Sanqian wanted to control the human world, he had to become a world god of the human world. Finally, he got the chance. The new world god of the human world was missing, and Shi Sanqian got the chance to become a world god of the human world. Unfortunately, when Bo Bo, who was known as the weakest world god in history, disappeared, she also took the important token of a world god, the world god seal. With Shi Sanqian's current divine power, he was still unable to refine a new world god seal. Therefore, he secretly sent people to collect the power of faith in the human world and convert it into divine power. Just as Shi Sanqian was deep in thought, there were a few pu sounds in the magic array. The 10 strands of power of faith, which were originally very weak, quickly dimmed. The magic array that was originally flashing with divine power was like an extinguished candle, extinguishing all of a sudden. The entire magic array suddenly became lifeless. How could this be? This sudden change shocked Shi Sanqian. How could the 10 strands of power of faith all disappear all of a sudden? Shi Sanqian's heart suddenly surged with a bad premonition. "Man!" Shi Sanqian shouted. "Clan leader, we have already investigated. There has been no news from the Moon Pavilion and Sun Beckoning Pavilion in the human world these few days. The people sent there reported that they have been razed to the ground by unknown people. Our people have no way to enter the human world for the time being, so we can't investigate." A Shi clan warrior knelt on one knee and reported. "Useless thing." In his fury, Shi Sanqian waved his sleeves and a layer of icy chi appeared. With a bang, it struck the Shi tribe warrior. That person didn't even have time to beg for mercy before his body flew out with a bang. When he crashed to the ground, his entire body had already shattered into ice powder. With just one blow, he killed a magic soldier. Shi Sanqian's strength could be imagined. Chapter 1301. After killing a divine soldier, Shi Sanqian's anger had yet to subside. His icy blue eyes were filled with murderous intent. Moon Pavilion and Sun Beckoning Pavilion had been built by Shi Sanqian over the past decade. Now, they had been destroyed by an unknown person, and he didn't know who that person was. How could Shi Sanqian not be enraged? There was an ancient restriction between the mortal world and the god world. Over gods like Shi Sanqian could enter, but it wouldn't be easy to send a large number of divine soldiers into the mortal world. Shi Sanqian furrowed his brows, and a wave of hostility surged around him. There was no news of the messenger of the Beast King and the Nightmare Otter. Fortunately, he had other spies in the mortal world. He immediately summoned the Great Witch Doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe with the power of his consciousness. The Great Witch Doctor's voice was transmitted through his consciousness. Moon Pavilion and Sun Beckoning Pavilion were razed to the ground, and the messenger of the Beast King is dead. Do you have any leads? The Great Witch Doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe was also one of the spies Shi Sanqian had sent to the mortal world long ago. Neither the 8 Desolation tribe nor Yushang knew about this. No one would have thought that the current Great Witch Doctor of the Celestial Fox tribe was a double agent. Divine Lord, I was just about to tell you something important. Half a month ago, I met a girl in Hoodoo. That girl had the power of a god. The girl Grand Magus Doctor was talking about was none other than Popo. A girl? How can someone from the mortal realm have divine power fluctuations? Describe what that little girl looks like. The mortal world and the god world were far apart. The Great Witch Doctor couldn't contact Shi Sanqian normally. Only when Shi Sanqian wanted to do so would the Great Witch Doctor have the opportunity to report. The Great Witch Doctor described Popo's appearance in detail, especially her mysterious scythe. It's her. Humph. I can't believe that trash is still alive. Shi Sanqian's voice was cold enough to freeze a person to death. The World Godstorm was one of the divine skills that made Divine Lord Four Directions famous. As for the strange pink color, it was the same as the egg of that trash disciple of Divine Lord Four Directions. No one in the entire celestial realm had ever seen Popo's true appearance, but this characteristic was enough for Shi Sanqian to confirm Popo's identity. Needless to say, the so-called mortal realm girl must be the universe deity who had been missing for many years. Pop pop! That piece of trash was actually still alive. Why hadn't it been killed in the great battle of the mortal world back then? A dark light flashed in Shi Sanqian's eyes. Great Witch Doctor, I will send you the blood of 100 godly soldiers and a godly general. No matter what method you use, you must kill Universe God Wai Gang. Shi Sanqian wished he could immediately head to the human world, but in a few days his wife would be giving birth, so he was unable to leave for the human world. Understood, Divine Lord. Don't worry, I will not let you down. The Great Witch Doctor was overjoyed. Divine soldiers and divine generals were the soldiers of the divine world. In the entire 8 Desolates continent, perhaps only the patriarchs of the major tribes and a few existences in the beast god altar could contend against them. The Great Witch Doctor was still worried about how to deal with Yun Sheng and Popo, but with these 2 weapons, killing them would be a piece of cake. At this time, Yun Sheng and Popo, who were rushing to Fengyu City, were completely unaware of this. In terms of flying speed, the Celestial Realm's treasure ship was not much faster than Boss Pengyu, who had transformed into a golden-backed giant pung. However, the treasure ship was big enough and had been modified with special space magic, so it was not a problem to squeeze in thousands of people. Moreover, Ni Jiao, as a famous carver in the Celestial Realm, had put in a lot of effort when building the treasure ship. His treasure ship was very comfortable to travel on. With the help of the Celestial Realm's treasure ship, the huge Celestial Fox tribal nation became a small place in Yun Sheng's eyes. In just a day's work, they had already crossed Yudu. Master, I've already sent people to follow Yu Shang and her group. After Yu Shang entered the south, she has done many good deeds. Now, there are many people in the south who have started to praise Yu Shang as the new Celestial Fox Saintess. Before Yun Sheng left Hu City, she had already made a plan. She ordered Queen Knight demon subordinates to secretly follow Yu Shang to the south. Yu Shang was also smart. She did not say that she was a Saintess candidate. Every time she went to a place, she would call herself the Celestial Fox Saintess. Those ignorant Celestial Fox people had already believed Yu Shang's words and believed that she was the Celestial Fox Saintess from Hu City. My dear master, that woman is too despicable. I think that when you reach Fengyu City, you should just say that you are the Saintess. Popo listened from the side with a look of disdain. That old witch was so shameless. That's normal. Yu Shang is a very smart person. However, if we compete fair and square, your master, I, will not lose to her. Yun Sheng smiled faintly. As she spoke, the treasured ship gradually descended. In front of them was Fengyu City, the largest prefecture in Yudu. In order to prevent the people in the city from panicking, Yun Sheng had Qing Cheng stop the treasured ship near the outskirts of Fengyu City. The Elf Queen and Boss Rock Feather accompanied them on the ship. As for Yun Sheng, she brought little Ying, Popo, and the Dream Otter to Fengyu City. Once they entered Fengyu City, Yun Sheng asked the city guard about the whereabouts of the local Celestial Fox Temple. You are foreigners. When you reach Fengyu City, you must remember to pay your respects to the Celestial Fox Temple. There are many people there every day. When the guard heard the accent of Yun Sheng and the others, he knew that they were not from this city. He enthusiastically advised them to pay their respects to the Celestial Fox Temple. And master, from the looks of it, the people in Fengyu City seemed to respect the Celestial Fox Saintess very much. After visiting so many places, only the people in Fengyu City paid their respects to the Celestial Fox Temple. In this way, it should be much easier for Yunsheng to obtain the power of faith. Everyone instantly became optimistic. It seemed that this trip to Fengyu City was much smoother than the previous few cities. They should be able to complete the mission soon. Yunsheng followed the guard's guidance and led them to the Celestial Fox Temple. Just as they walked to the main street in the city, they saw that the road was crowded with people. These people were all tiptoeing and squeezing in the direction of the street. "Uncle, what are you guys doing?" Popo and little Ying both loved to join in the fun. Seeing so many people on the street, they were curious. "Miss, you guys are foreigners, right? Don't you know such a big thing? We are going to the Celestial Fox Temple to welcome the Saintess." A warm-hearted person on the side told Popo. "Welcome the Saintess?" Popo's eyes lit up. They hadn't arrived yet, and there were already so many people coming to welcome them. This was really the first time since the beginning of time. Chapter 1302. Bobo blushed and patted the uncle, who was still squeezing forward. She also wanted to ask how these passers-by knew that her master was coming. One had to know that her master was very low-key all the way here, completely different from that Yushang. "Uncle, don't bother. The Saintess is standing right in front of you." Who knew that the uncle looked at Bobo and the others strangely, as if he had seen a ghost. He cursed, "Crazy," and squeezed his way forward. "Hey, what's the matter? You want to see the Celestial Fox Saintess? You don't need to go to the Celestial Fox Temple." Bobo was speechless. "That's not right. Bobo, look at them. They don't look like they are welcoming us. They are clearly going to the Celestial Fox Temple." Yunsheng paid attention to the direction of the flow of the crowd. Little Ying was pushed around by the crowd. With great difficulty, she grabbed Yunsheng's sleeve. Among the people rushing to the Celestial Fox Temple, there were locals and foreigners. Many of them were not alone, but dragging their families. Many of them were carrying children. Everyone only had one goal, and that was the Celestial Fox Temple. No one noticed the existence of Yunsheng, the real Celestial Fox Saintess. Being reminded by Yunsheng, Bobo grabbed a passerby. With Bobo's strange strength, the passerby was suddenly lifted into the air, scaring that person so much that he almost screamed. Fortunately, the unlucky passerby saw that it was a few slim women and children in front of him, so he didn't shout for help. "Let me ask you, why is everyone rushing forward?" Bobo asked. I say, you guys are stopping me because of this? Everyone is going to the Celestial Fox Temple to see the Saintess. Of course, we have to go to the Celestial Fox Temple. If we are late, we won't be able to get a seat and receive the Saintess blessing. The resident of Fengyu City complained. "Saintess blessing? What is that?" Bobo was even more curious. "Where did you bumpkins come from? You don't even know about the blessing of the Saintess." In the early days, the Saintess had gone to other places in Yudu to help the local people. She provided free medical treatment and beat back the devil beasts and bandits. The local residents said that as long as the Saintess touches their heads, all diseases will be cured. The passerby said as he tried to break free from Bobo's hand. It was precisely because of these rumors that the nearby citizens all rushed over when they heard that the Saintess Celestial Fox had arrived in Fengyu City 3 days ago. The city guards at the city gate also thought that Yunsheng and the others were here to join in the fun, so they reminded them to go to the Celestial Fox Shrine. "You've been deceived. She's the Celestial Fox Saintess. The Saintess in the Celestial Fox Temple is a fake." Bobo was furious. What free medical treatment? What beating back the devil beasts? Weren't these all done by Master's devil beasts and the Queen? How did it all become the credit of the unknown fake in the Celestial Fox Shrine all of a sudden? Yunsheng also frowned. What was going on? Who was impersonating her, and even said that by touching her head, they would be able to receive the Saintess blessing and all diseases would be cured. Where did these rumors come from? What kind of joke is this? Why would the honorable saintess be on the streets? Our celestial fox tribe saintess, seven-tailed celestial fox, Yunsheng, is in the celestial fox shrine. You don't learn anything and just learn to be a liar. After the passerby heard Bobo's words, not only did he not believe it, he even had a look of disdain. Nowadays, anyone dared to impersonate the celestial fox saintess. To think that he had thought that the few women in front of him were as beautiful as fairies. They were actually liars. Who are you calling a liar? Bobo waved his fist threateningly. Bobo, that's enough. Yunsheng gave Bobo a look. Bobo could only let go of his hand resentfully. Seeing that the situation was not right, the passerby quickly slipped away. Something is wrong. Let's go to the celestial fox shrine to take a look. Yunsheng, Bobo, and the others followed the flow of people and walked in the direction of the celestial fox shrine. The celestial fox shrine in Fengyu City had just been renovated. Looking from afar, the scale was actually not inferior to the celestial fox shrine in Hu City. According to the passersby, the local residents and rich families from all over the country had recently renovated it in order to thank the celestial fox saintess. The saintess has come out. There were too many people in the celestial fox shrine. Yunsheng, Bobo, and the others could barely see a few people coming out of the entrance of the celestial fox shrine through the heads of the people. Among them, there were a few men and women. The woman in the middle was wearing a gorgeous saintess robe. Her eyes were black, and her skin was flawless like jade. Her pair of black eyes were incomparably pure. Her graceful figure was as if bathed in the moonlight. Just looking at her made people feel a sense of holiness from the bottom of their hearts. Yunsheng looked over. When she saw the woman coming out of the celestial fox shrine, they were all stunned. How could it be? Master, why does that woman look exactly the same as you? Bobo was stunned. The impostor who came out of the celestial fox shrine, whether it was her facial features or her appearance, was exactly the same as Yunsheng. Yunsheng was also full of doubts. In the Bahuang continent, besides Hu Sheng, there shouldn't be a second person who looked like her. But where did this celestial fox saintess come from? Could it be that Hu Sheng was resurrected again? But her ashes were clearly still in Hu Rulin's hands. Just as Yunsheng was hesitating, a citizen of Fengyu City beside her was pushed by the crowd, and in a moment of carelessness, he bumped into Yunsheng. Ah, why do you look exactly like the saintess? The citizen raised his head and looked at Yunsheng. He was shocked and lost his voice. When this person shouted, everyone immediately looked over. Even the fake saintess who had just been replaced by Yunsheng from the celestial fox shrine looked over. When the saintess saw Yunsheng, her black eyes flashed slightly. She was full of hostility towards Yunsheng. What's going on? Why are there two saintesses? The confused people looked at each other. They looked at Yunsheng and then at the fake saintess. What a shameless woman. You actually dare to pretend to be our master. What kind of celestial fox saintess are you? Our master is the real celestial fox saintess. Bobo angrily rushed to the front of the fake saintess and scolded her. Presumptuous, you actually dare to slander the saintess. With your poor appearance, you still dare to call yourself a saintess. Behind the fake saintess, someone cursed in a strange tone. The onlookers looked at the clothes of Yunsheng and the others and also showed a look of disdain. It turned out that Yunsheng and the others had spent the past few days on the Heavenly Realms treasure ship. They were travel-worn and did not have time to dress up. Indeed, they were a little dusty. Looking at Yunsheng, who walked out of the celestial fox shrine, her makeup was exquisite. Wearing the exquisite celestial fox saintess robe, her whole body was overflowing with holy light. No wonder when she appeared, these ignorant people thought that Yunsheng and the others were the fake ones. Chapter 1303. Two saintesses who looked exactly the same stood together. Oh, I remember. Aren't you the swindlers who stopped me and asked about the celestial fox saintess? The passerby who was carried by Bobo earlier was also watching in the crowd. When he opened his mouth, everyone was even more convinced that Yunsheng and others were swindlers. Shut up, she's the imposter. My master is the celestial fox saintess Yunsheng, who was sent to the north by Hu Du. She is the seven-tailed celestial fox Yunsheng. She also has the celestial fox statue, given by Hu Qinxiu on her body. Seeing these people slandering her master for no reason, Bo Bo hurriedly argued. She didn't believe that the impostor could even fake these things. Who knew that when the impostor saintess heard these words, a smile appeared on her holy and flawless face. Behind the impostor, 7 fox tails suddenly appeared. She also took out a celestial fox statue. When she saw those two things, Bo Bo's face was full of disbelief. Those people, on the other hand, suddenly boiled up. Saintess, there's no need to talk to these swindlers. Swindlers, get lost. You've simply tarnished the celestial fox temple. The agitated people came forward and pushed Yunsheng, Bo Bo, and others. Master, you should also show your fox tails and your celestial fox statue to them. We're not swindlers. Bo Bo was very annoyed, but she couldn't reason with these innocent people. Stop. The celestial fox saintess opened her mouth. Her voice was pleasant to the ear, and even her voice was exactly the same as Yunsheng's. Yunsheng and her stood facing each other, and there was a feeling of looking into a mirror. Everyone calm down. This girl, I don't know who instigated you or what mentality you have, but you want to pretend to be this saintess. However, the identity of the saintess was not something that could be faked with just the 7 tails and celestial fox statues. Celestial Fox Saintess is the proud daughter of heaven chosen by the ancestor of Celestial Fox. She possesses great power. The Celestial Fox Saintess leisurely walked into the crowd. She kindly helped up a sickly old man who was coughing nonstop and placed her hand on the old man's forehead. There was a flash of light in her palm, and the old man's bent back suddenly straightened. Not only that, her coughing stopped. It's this mysterious power. Saintess, please take a look at my child. Saintess, my father is bedridden. Could you please take a look at him? After witnessing this miraculous scene, the onlookers were all boiling with excitement. They had long heard that the Saintess of Heavenly Fox had healed many patients when she was in various places. She had even brought people back from the dead. Only the real Saintess of Heavenly Fox possessed such miraculous powers. How is it? Do you also have the ability to do this? The fake Celestial Fox Saintess had a face full of pride. Like a peacock spreading its tail, she stared at Yunsheng. If you can't do it, then get lost. Without this ability, you still want to pretend to be the Celestial Fox Saintess. Get lost as far as you can. Get out of Fengyu City. The agitated crowd began to besiege Yunsheng and Bo Bo, seeing that the situation was not right. Yunsheng and Bo Bo could only temporarily withdraw from Fengyu City. Everyone, don't crowd. The Saintess will stay in Fengyu City for many days. During this period, she will receive 50 patients every day. Everyone only needs to sincerely pay their respects to the Celestial Fox Temple, and you will have a chance. The person who looked like a guard beside the fake Saintess maintained order. As for the fake Celestial Fox Saintess, she walked into the Celestial Fox Temple under the admiring gazes of the crowd. Get lost. I thought you guys were here to pay your respects to the Saintess, but you guys are actually imposters. You are not allowed to enter Fengyu City in the future. The city guard fiercely chased Yunsheng and the rest out. After chasing away the real Celestial Fox Saintess Yunsheng, Hu Linglong entered the Celestial Fox Temple. So annoying. These damn people are so noisy and crowded. They really don't make me feel at ease. The fake Saintess that could be passed off as the real one was Hu Linglong, who had taken on the appearance of Yunsheng after receiving Great Shaman Doctor's Potion. It was unknown what Great Shaman Doctor's Potion was made of, but after Hu Linglong drank it, she could even transform into the appearance of the 7-tailed Celestial Fox. As for the Celestial Fox statue, Hu Linglong had stolen it from her clan through her father. After preparing everything, Hu Linglong left the city of Hulong before Yunsheng and headed for Yudu. Along the way, she asked around for information about Yunsheng and the rest. After Yunsheng cleared out the Beast King's forces, Hu Linglong took the opportunity to arrive at Fengyu City in advance, taking advantage of the good deeds that Yunsheng had done in various places. When Hu Linglong arrived at Fengyu City, Great Shaman Doctor ordered someone to send her a shaman weapon, saying that it could cure all kinds of illnesses. Apart from that, Great Shaman Doctor also sent some guards. Using this magic and these guards, Hu Linglong successfully settled down in the Celestial Fox Temple and won the hearts of the people, which led to the earlier scene. When she thought about how she had ruthlessly humiliated Yun Sheng and the rest, and how they were chased away in a sorry state, Hu Linglong felt a burst of excitement. Yun Sheng, to think that you would have such a day. Seven-tailed celestial fox? The strongest celestial fox inheritance? So what if you have these? In the end, you are not my match. Hu Linglong boasted that she had a few experts by her side, so she didn't take Yun Sheng seriously at all. Sanus, those people are not simple. You have to be careful from now on. The guard beside her saw Hu Linglong's smug face and was worried that she would get carried away, so he kindly reminded her. Hu Linglong's guard's eyesight was much better than Hu Linglong's. They were the divine soldiers and divine generals of the Shi clan, and the head of the guards was a divine general of the Shi clan called Fanjin. After Fanjin and the rest were sent to the human world, they were also reminded by Great Shaman Doctor that Yun Sheng was most likely with abandoned God Bobo. Earlier, dozens of black talisman divine soldiers and a divine medicine blood general had been killed for no reason. It was very likely that Yun Sheng and Bobo were the culprits. Fanjin, you are just a servant. What right do you have to order me around? The sun is shining brightly outside, and the people in the city are from all walks of life. They are dirty and smelly. I am too lazy to care about them. Hu Linglong was unruly. In her eyes, servants were servants. Although they were sent by Great Shaman Doctor to assist her, they were still servants. How could a few servants have the right to order her around? Although Hu Linglong had Yun Sheng's face, her heart was still vicious. She was a pure-blooded celestial fox, noble, and rarely interacted with the common people. This time, in order to make the people respect her, she had no choice but to put on a holy and compassionate face. However, this was just her disguise. Besides, the sun is so strong. What if my face gets sunburned? Tell the people outside that I am not feeling well. I will give my blessings in the evening. Hu Linglong found a bronze mirror and looked at the face in it. Looking at that pretty face, Hu Linglong was envious and angry. Great Shaman Doctor was right. Because she was Hu Sheng's cousin, Hu Linglong and Yun Sheng were originally quite similar. After receiving the secret medicine from Great Shaman Doctor, Hu Linglong was conflicted for a while. However, in the end, she couldn't resist the temptation and drank the medicine, turning into Yun Sheng. Chapter 1304. After drinking the medicine, Hu Linglong fell asleep in a daze. After a full day and night, when she woke up again, an unbelievable scene occurred. Hu Linglong had become Yun Sheng, from inside to outside. Even after transforming into a fox, she still had 7 tails. When Hu Qiansui saw this, he almost couldn't recognize her. However, this sinister father and daughter pair soon calmed down. Especially Hu Qiansui, who was overjoyed. Daughter, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Immediately set off for Yudu and win the respect of the local people before Yun Sheng. When the time comes, you can officially become the saintess of Celestial Fox. In addition to your appearance, you are exactly the same as Yun Sheng. When you return to Hu Capital, I will ask Chief to grant you and Lu a marriage. Only then did Hu Linglong arrive at Yudu with the face she hated the most in her life. However, when she thought about how everything she had was because of this face, Hu Linglong's face contorted again. Wait a minute, Great Witch Doctor said your abilities are very strong. Since that's the case, go and get rid of those eyesores. Even though Hu Linglong had chased away Yun Sheng and the rest, she still felt uneasy. Yun Sheng, that woman, had escaped death time and time again. Even in a hopeless situation like 8 Desolate's mountain range, she could still come back alive. Hu Linglong might as well order people to kill her. Understood? God General Fan Zhen lowered his head with a respectful expression. However, his eyes were full of disdain. This lowly beast woman really thought she was something. Leaving her alive would only bring disaster sooner or later. It was a pity that they couldn't find anyone more suitable than her to pretend to be Yun Sheng. Hu Linglong was just a chess piece of Great Witch Doctor and Lord Beast King. These people who were pretending to be Celestial Fox's guards weren't ordinary people. They were divine soldiers that Shi Sanqian had secretly sent to the human world. Among them, there were a few god generals. Fan Zhen was originally ordered to assist Great Witch Doctor. However, Great Witch Doctor wanted them to come to Yudu to help Hu Linglong. If it weren't for the fact that they were still alive, they wouldn't have obeyed this woman who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Anyway, she only needed to serve her for a month or so. When the Great Witch Doctor finished his business in the south, the Great Witch Doctor said that she would kill this arrogant woman and take away her heavenly fox statue. Hu Linglong did not know about these things beforehand. She was still immersed in the wonderful feeling of being supported by others. Divine General Fan Zhen walked out and ordered the people of the Celestial Fox Temple to disperse the crowd temporarily. "General, are we really going to kill those women?" A few divine soldiers also heard Hu Linglong's order. "An ant of the beast race wants to order us around?" However, those women really couldn't be left alive, especially that pink-haired one. If I'm not mistaken, that woman should be the abandoned god, Bo. Fan Zhen had been in the crowd just now, so he had noticed Bo at first glance. It wasn't just the abandoned god, Bo, that made the divine general avoid her. He was even more wary of the woman beside Bo. That woman should be the real Celestial Fox Sanus candidate, Yun Sheng. "General, she's just an ant of the beast race. Even if she's the seven-tailed Celestial Fox, we don't have to avoid her too much." The divine soldiers had looks of contempt. They weren't the black talisman divine soldiers made of paper. They were true divine soldiers of the god realm who had undergone strict training. In their eyes, humans and beasts were simply too weak to withstand a single blow. "That woman has an aura of power," Fan Zhen muttered to himself. Even though he couldn't tell what that aura was, Fan Zhen had a premonition that it was similar to Lord Shi Sanqian's. It was also because of this that Fan Zhen didn't kill her on the spot. However, we don't have to do anything for now. The few of you, go and spread the news that the abandoned god has appeared in Yudu. Naturally, someone will kill the abandoned god on our behalf. Fan Zhen's brain was obviously much better than the other divine soldiers. Wouldn't it be easier to get someone else to do the dirty work? As long as Bo's identity was announced, there should be many people in the 8 wastelands who wanted her divine body. Why not wait at ease and wait for an exhausted enemy? Ever since that day, the Celestial Fox Shrine was still bustling with activity. Every day, there was an endless stream of people entering Fengyu City. Some people even queued up overnight and waited for a few days and nights just for a chance to be blessed by the Celestial Fox Shrine. In comparison, the morale of Yun Sheng and Bo's camp was low. Because they were bewitched by the fake Celestial Fox Shrine, Yun Sheng and the others couldn't enter the city with their real faces. Helpless, they could only change their appearances and enter the city after disguising themselves. It was a pity that there were simply too many people who went to the Celestial Fox Shrine to pay their respects to the Celestial Fox Shrine. Yun Sheng and the others couldn't get close. It wasn't until the 4th day that Yun Sheng and Bo sat in a restaurant opposite the Celestial Fox Shrine. Through the window, they looked at the Celestial Fox Shrine in front of them. From morning to noon, the threshold of the Celestial Fox Shrine was almost broken by people. There was an endless stream of foreigners and local residents entering the Celestial Fox Shrine. Those who were sick asked for treatment, while those who weren't sick asked for blessings. Seeing how the people in the city worshipped the fake Celestial Fox Shrine as if they were gods, Bo and little Ying were filled with righteous indignation. Especially Bo. She knew that the other party was an imposter in disguise, but she couldn't expose her. She gritted her teeth in hatred. "I'm so angry. Master, why don't you let me go up and tear that imposter's face apart? Her face must be fake." Bo's little face was red from anger. "Bo, don't be impulsive. That woman is not simple. Didn't you notice that the people beside her are all divine soldiers? And I also feel that there are many people next to the Celestial Fox Shrine. Yun Sheng was also annoyed. She had never been so angry. She was the real Celestial Fox Shrine, but a fake Celestial Fox Shrine had taken over her place and driven her out. However, what made Yun Sheng feel the most strange was that the fake Celestial Fox Shrine, not only did she have the same appearance as her, she could even imitate the Celestial Fox Shrine and the Seven Tails. Obviously, this person must be very familiar with the Celestial Fox Shrine selection. What was even more strange was her godly medical skills just now. Yun Sheng was conceited. Using the water of life, she could also cure a patient in a short period of time. However, that also required a process. Just now, that imposter had actually cured a patient in an instant. This made it even more obvious that she was not simple. Hu Linglong, who was in the Celestial Fox Shrine, didn't expect that Yun Sheng and the others had already begun to doubt her medical skills. So what if she's a divine soldier? Master, didn't you already kill a divine soldier and dozens of divine soldiers? Bobo was still somewhat unconvinced. Happy May Day, everyone. This month is the month that the main text will be completed. I've been writing for almost a year. Sigh, this is the last month. Chapter 1305. Yun Sheng smiled bitterly and shook her head. How could the divine soldiers and divine generals of the divine realm be so easy to deal with? Moreover, Yun Sheng could see that the divine soldiers and immortal generals beside Hu Linglong were much more powerful than the divine soldiers and immortal generals transformed from black runes that the messengers of the Beast King's messengers had sent this time. Just by looking at the light in their eyes and their restrained divine power, she knew that they were not ordinary people. Moreover, last time when they were fighting against the divine generals, Yun Sheng used the Millennium Ice Zither to win. But the Ice Zither was also destroyed in that competition. This time, the number of opponents was several times more than the last time. Without the Millennium Ice Zither, Yun Sheng did not have full confidence to defeat those divine soldiers and divine generals, unless she could comprehend the last eight-tailed celestial fox inheritance. Perhaps she still had the ability to fight against those divine soldiers and divine generals. But Master, are we just going to watch that woman occupy the Celestial Fox Temple? If this goes on, we will not be able to obtain the power of faith. Bobo was somewhat anxious. Now it was difficult for them to even enter the city. Needless to say, that woman's tricks had already penetrated deep into the hearts of the people. Wait and see. I feel that woman gives me a very familiar feeling. Do you still remember her proud expression? Yun Sheng muttered. Speaking of which, I also feel that the smell on her body is very familiar. Bobo recalled for a moment and suddenly patted her head. I remembered that proud peacock-like look. That look is exactly the same as that hateful Hu Linglong. As the saying goes, a dog can't change its habit. Some people, even if their appearance changed, but their temper and some details of their actions could not be changed. Bobo could not bear to continue watching. But 3 to 4 days have passed. We can't just keep waiting. Bobo was so angry that he kicked the table in the restaurant. His monstrous strength caused the table to collapse. Bobo, don't be impatient. I have already ordered Boss Peng Yu to sneak into the Celestial Fox Temple. Compared to Bobo's irritation, Yun Sheng was much calmer. After leaving the Celestial Fox Shrine, Yun Sheng had been secretly on guard. However, what surprised Yun Sheng was that nothing had happened in the past few days. None of the divine soldiers and divine generals under Hu Linglong's command made a move. Could it be that Hu Linglong had changed? Or could it be that those divine soldiers and generals did not notice Popo's divine power? Thinking of this, Yun Sheng's eyes turned and fixed on the unusually lively Celestial Fox Shrine. Yun Sheng chose the best place in the restaurant. Opposite the window was the gate of the Celestial Fox Shrine. Unfortunately, Hu Linglong had been receiving treatment in the Celestial Fox Temple, so he couldn't see clearly from here. Therefore, Yun Sheng had no choice but to arrange for Boss Peng Yu to blend into the worshipping crowd and think of a way to lure Hu Linglong out. In this way, Yun Sheng could see more clearly how Hu Linglong was being treated. As there were too many people, Even the tall and strong Boss Peng Yu took half a day to get the qualification to be blessed by the saintess today. Finally, it was Boss Peng Yu's turn at dusk. At this moment, Boss Peng Yu no longer looked like a desperado in the 8 desolate mountain range. He was dressed shabbily, like a man from a poor family, and there were wounds on his body. "Saintess, please save my sister." Boss Peng Yu's acting skills couldn't be described with just the word good. As soon as he saw Hu Linglong walking over, he hurriedly rushed up and knelt beside Hu Linglong. An additional trace of disgust appeared in Hu Linglong's eyes when she smelled the sweat and blood coming from the other party's body. She really wanted to shoo such a lowly person away. However, she could only barely squeeze out a smile in front of so many people. "Don't panic. What happened? Are you here to treat her or to bless her?" After being an imposter for so many days, Hu Linglong could be said to be familiar with this. The way she saw it, those ignorant Celestial Fox residents had come to the Celestial Fox Shrine for nothing more than 2 purposes. For the former, she would need to exert some effort. As for the latter, it would be much easier. "Treat her. I've come to treat her. However, the person who's injured is not me. My daughter has been bitten. She's lying outside. The injured cannot be moved. Saintess, please take a few steps outside." Boss Peng Yu appeared to be burning with anxiety. As he spoke, he staggered outside. In order to show that she was close to the people, Hu Linglong could only walk out. Sure enough, there was a female injured person at the entrance of the Celestial Fox Shrine. She was a blonde woman with white skin. Her long hair covered her face, making it impossible to see her appearance. There were many wounds on her body. However, the most fatal wound was on her calf. She had been bitten to the point that even her bones were exposed. From the looks of it, she was bitten by a devil beast. Hu Linglong frowned slightly. The security around Yudu wasn't very good. There were often people who were bitten by devil beasts. From the looks of it, the daughter of this poor man had also been bitten by some poisonous devil beast. The wound was also poisonous. The poison caused the woman's wound to bleed nonstop. The female injured person had already fainted. Even her breathing sounded very weak. "The injury is quite serious. Don't worry too much." Hu Linglong didn't even look at the female patient's condition. She stretched out her hand and, as usual, covered the wound with her hand. A white light shone under Hu Linglong's hand. That magical white light burrowed into the body of the female injured person. After a moment, the wound that was originally bleeding nonstop immediately stopped bleeding. What was even more magical was that the wound healed. After a moment, the breathing of the female injured person stabilized. She lifted her long hair and revealed a very beautiful face. Such a boar could actually give birth to such a beautiful daughter? Hu Linglong didn't expect the female injured person to be so beautiful. There was always a natural hostility between beautiful women and beautiful women. "Lord Saintess, thank you so much." Boss Peng Yu and the female injured person both looked grateful. As Hu Linglong spoke, she put her hand on the head of Boss Peng Yu and the female injured person. After pretending for a while, she turned around to treat the others. Boss Peng Yu and the female injured person left the Celestial Fox Temple. When they turned around, the 2 of them looked at each other. The female injured person was the elf queen in disguise. The 2 of them went up to the restaurant and prepared to meet up with Yunsheng. By the window of the restaurant, thanks to Boss Peng Yu and the elf queen, Yunsheng, Bobo, and the others also saw clearly. They all had strange expressions on their faces. Judging from the situation just now, the fake saintess Hu Linglong actually had magical medical skills. It was only about half a month. Where did she get these magical medical skills from? Especially Yunsheng. She was even more baffled. Yunsheng was a medical practitioner. At the same time, she was also a magician. Regardless of whether it was ordinary ancient medical skills or magical treatment, it was impossible for her to learn them in such a short period of time. There must be some sort of shameful secret behind Hu Linglong. Chapter 1306. Master, did you see it clearly? After the Elven Queen returned, She showed the wound to Yun Sheng. The Elven Queen's calf was white and flawless. There was not even a blemish, let alone a wound. In order to prevent Hu Linglong from seeing through her, the Night Demon Queen had left the wound on her own accord. There was even poison on it. However, the wound had already healed. If one did not look carefully, one would not even be able to tell that it had been injured. Elven Queen, tell me how you felt when you were being treated. Yun Sheng glanced at the Elven Queen. She had a motive for making the Elven Queen pretend to be injured. The Elven Queen was the only one among all of Yun Sheng's magical beasts who knew how to treat injuries. That fake Sanus's treatment was very special. If I'm not wrong, she should have mastered a very advanced light magic. To be exact, it should be a god-level light magic that could heal all wounds in an instant. The Elven Queen described her feelings in detail. The Elven Queen's water-based healing skills were very advanced. However, she was not confident that she could heal all injuries in such a short time, regardless of the body's constitution. It was indeed light magic. Yun Sheng had the same opinion as the Elven Queen. It can't be. How could that bad woman, Hu Linglong, master a god-level light magic? Bobo opened her mouth wide in disbelief. God-level light magic. At the mention of light magic, Yun Sheng could not help but think of a person. That person was the former #1 genius of the Dharma Temple, Ji Rumo of Penglai of Gojoseon. The true genius of the Boundless Land who was proficient in light magic and was born from the Heavenly Fate Mirror. If he was here, he might give Yun Sheng some advice. It was a pity that the Heavenly Fate Mirror was broken. An indescribable melancholy welled up in Yun Sheng's heart. Every time she thought of the man who had died in her arms, who was as perfect as an immortal, Yun Sheng would always feel a sense of guilt. Bobo, do you have a way to send me back to the human realm? I want to find Gufeng and ask him about divine light magic. Yun Sheng thought of Ji Rumo, and at the same time, thought of another person. That was her good friend, Gufeng, who was trapped in the Dutian blood realm and was supporting the new Dutian blood seal. Gufeng was also a light magician. Perhaps he would know something about divine light magic. No problem, dear master. Don't forget, Bobo is a world deity. Bobo's godly power is enough to set you up. Bobo patted his chest confidently. Back then, when she was still an egg, her ability to banish was a little weak. However, things were different now. As long as it was a place where Popo had been before, she was confident that she could accurately banish her master to that place in an instant. However, there was still a time limit to the banishment. Yun Sheng could only stay in the Boundless Land for a short period of time, about 12 hours. 12 hours was enough for Yun Sheng to find Gufeng and ask about divine light magic. It's decided then. I will temporarily return to the Boundless Land. The few of you, stay on the Divine Realm's treasured ship for the next few days. If there's anything amiss, immediately pilot the treasured ship and leave. Yun Sheng was still worried that Hu Linglong's group would make some strange movements during her absence. Fortunately, they now had the Divine Realm's treasure ship and the demigod Qingqing. If there was really any trouble, they would be able to escape on the Divine Realm's treasure ship. Hence, with Bo's help, Yun Sheng temporarily bid farewell to the few of them and headed to the Boundless Land. Dear Master, the taste of banishment is not good. Bear with it and close your eyes. Bo playfully stuck out her tongue. Her pink long hair fluttered as she pointed her slender finger to the sky and mumbled. A strong energy fluctuation could be seen. A 1-meter-wide black hole appeared under Yun Sheng's feet. In just a breath's time, Yun Sheng disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. Soon after, Bo also disappeared. Beside her ears was a whistling sound. Yun Sheng felt as if she was sealed in a sealed space. Fortunately, this feeling did not last for long. Soon, she heard Bo's cheerful voice. Dear Master, we have arrived at the Dutian blood realm. Yun Sheng opened her eyes. Around her was a familiar red aura. The sky, the ground, and even the flowing river nearby were all red. The Dutian blood realm. Ever since the blood seal collapsed, Yun Sheng had not come here again. Seeing the familiar soil and the whistling sound of the wind, Yun Sheng's eyes could not help but have a hint of disappointment. Gu Feng, her good friend, she had come to see him. Yun Sheng and Bo Bo walked towards the depths of the Dutian blood realm together. There imprisoned the bravest person in the boundless continent. In the depths of the Dutian blood realm, where the former Beast King tomb of the Ba Huang clan leader was located, a seal like the Golden Bell shield supported the new Dutian blood seal. It was also this blood seal that stopped the beast race of the Ba Huang continent at the last moment when the Black Shilan tribe's patriarch, He Yao, and the others invaded. In the blood seal, there was a man. He was like a stone statue, sitting there. Several years had passed. Other than the occasional wind that passed by the blood seal, the man had been sitting alone. He was originally only in his early 20s, but because he had used the life-burning technique, the man looked much older than his actual age. His hair was a little gray, and his back was slightly hunched. He looked like a middle-aged man. That was Gu Feng. The waiting time was always long. In his ears, there were waves of beast roars. At this moment, a rustling sound of footsteps was heard. Gu Feng's ears twitched slightly. Footsteps? No one had come here for many years. Ever since the new Dutian blood seal appeared, the 5 major countries and several major forces on the continent issued a joint order that no one was allowed to enter the Dutian blood seal. Who dared to violate the ban and approach this place? Or could it be that the Bakro orcs had risen from the ashes and were here again? Gu Feng could not help but feel nervous. He raised his eyes and stared at the dense murderous aura in front of him. He saw 2 figures walking out of the murderous aura. When he saw the person walking in front, Gu Feng's eyes widened in disbelief. Yun Sheng. As he had not spoken to anyone for too long, Gu Feng's pronunciation was very unnatural. He seemed to have suddenly become the little stutterer that Yun Sheng had just met. Gu Feng? This was the first time Yun Sheng saw Gu Feng after several years. Although she knew that Gu Feng would age more easily after using the life-burning technique, Yun Sheng did not expect that Gu Feng would suddenly become so old. Chapter 13:07. When Yun Sheng saw Gu Feng, she felt a lump in her throat and her eyes became moist. She suddenly felt lucky that Ling didn't come with her. Otherwise, Ling would definitely be very sad to see Gu Feng like this. Have I become much more mature? Gu Feng scratched his head. Although his appearance had become old and haggard, from between his brows, one could still vaguely see the honest and simple Gu Feng from back then. I'm sorry, Gu Feng. I didn't know. Yun Sheng suddenly had mixed feelings. She felt very sorry for Gu Feng. Back then, when Gu Feng sacrificed himself to rebuild the Dutian bloodprint, she had promised that she would definitely think of a way to save Gu Feng. However, all these years, she had completely forgotten about Gu Feng because of her own matters. This time, if it weren't for the God-tier super magic, Yun Sheng probably wouldn't have thought of coming to see Gu Feng. Yun Sheng, don't be sad. Who doesn't die? It's the same whether you die early or late. Why are you here? Did something happen to Ling and the others? Gu Feng had been in the Dutian bloodprint all this time. He didn't know anything that happened in the outside world. He only knew that back then, he told Qi, Ling and Yun Sheng not to come and see him. After that, the 3 of them went their separate ways. Qi returned to the mainland's magic elite camp. Ling became the queen of the East Imperial dynasty, and Yun Sheng returned to Zhou State. However, seeing Yun Sheng suddenly appear today, something must have happened. Gu Feng was puzzled. Then, he looked at Yun Sheng's side. Beside her stood a very playful girl. The girl had pink hair and pink eyes. At first glance, she looked very familiar. However, Gu Feng couldn't remember where he had seen this girl before. Dearest master, don't be sad. Don't worry. When you become a god in the future, you can bring this silly boy to the divine world. At that time, you will have a way to let him regain his youth. Seeing Yun Sheng's sad face, Popo couldn't bear it and comforted her. You are that egg, no? That sheep? Gu Feng heard Popo's tone and thought back, and he almost jumped up. You're the egg. You're the sheep. This is the true face of this world deity. She glared at Gu Feng with her big eyes, as if she was about to quarrel with him. All right, Popo, stop fooling around. Gu Feng Popo is a world god beast. Her previous appearance was because she had yet to evolve. Yun Sheng was amused by the two of them. However, Popo's words rekindled Yun Sheng's hope. That's right. If she could find the path of gods in the future, she might be able to bring Gufeng, Ling, and the others to become gods. However, before that, she had more important things to complete. Gufeng, don't worry. Lu and Ling are fine. I came to find you this time to ask about the god-level light magic. Yun Sheng spoke of the purpose of her visit today. God-level light magic. When Gufeng heard about light magic, he was immediately interested. Yun Sheng, why did you suddenly ask about this? On the Boundless Continent, there is no god-level light magic. No. To be exact, the Heavenly Fate Mirror's ability to reflect all attacks is considered a god-level light magic. However, the Heavenly Fate Mirror is already broken. Therefore, on the Boundless Continent, there should be no one who knows god-level light magic. Gufeng's answer made Yun Sheng very disappointed. However, in the hands of the Bakro orcs, there might still be people who know god-level magic. Gufeng suddenly changed the topic. Hey, silly boy, can't you say it all at once? Popo, who was listening at the side, rolled her eyes. She was almost angered to death by Gufeng. Gufeng smiled embarrassedly. He also just thought of it. When Gufeng was in the continent's magic elite camp, he was asked by his teacher to study many books about the continent's history of magic. Among them, there was a small section about the battle between the 8 great experts and the Bakr clan leader. The human race had the powerful Bakr divine weapon. However, in the beast race, it was rumored that the great witch doctor of the celestial fox tribe, who was the most powerful in magic at that time, might have a god-level light weapon that had been lost in the Boundless Continent for a long time. Legend has it that the light magic weapon has a very strong healing power. It can instantly heal wounds and even repair all kinds of damaged weapons. However, this is only a legend. Moreover, it was something that happened many years ago. I'm just guessing. I can't be 100% sure that this news is true. Gufeng was also not very sure whether this record was true or not. Gufeng, this record is very likely not just a legend. That god-level light magic weapon might really exist. Yun Sheng combined what Gufeng said and thought about Hu Linglong's miraculous healing power. She was 99% sure that Hu Linglong should have that light magic weapon on her. Moreover, this light magic weapon was probably given to her by the Great Witch Doctor. So all of this was instigated by the Great Witch Doctor. It seemed that the Great Witch Doctor of this generation of the Celestial Fox Tribe was also in cahoots with the God Realm. Yun Sheng briefly told Gufeng about how she escorted Hu Sheng's ashes to the Bakr continent, met the Celestial Fox Saintess ceremony, and then went to Yudu. After Gufeng heard this, he knew that so many things had happened to Yun Sheng in the past few years. Yun Sheng, you have to take back that light magic weapon no matter what. You have to know that light magic weapons are different from god weapons. If the person who has the light magic weapon is determined enough, they might be able to control the light magic weapon. However, if it is as you said, the other party is an unruly celestial fox noble lady. It is definitely not a good thing that the light magic weapon is in her hands. Gufeng's face was solemn. The beast clan of the 8 wastelands was different from the human clan. Their Great Witch Doctor mostly cultivated dark magic. This group of people had great power, but if this power was not used properly, it would bring about terrible consequences. It is a pity that we don't know what the light magic weapon is. We can only be sure that the light magic weapon is definitely with Hu Linglong. Gufeng, my time in the Boundless Land is limited. You have to take care of yourself. I believe that Ling, Qi, and I will one day come to take you away from the Dutian blood seal. After Yun Sheng investigated the matter, she considered the safety of the few people in Fengyu City and did not stay any longer. Don't worry, Yun Sheng. I'll definitely wait for all of you. Gufeng revealed a silly smile. He watched as Yun Sheng and the rest disappeared into the murderous aura. The loneliness in his eyes was concealed. Although she had figured out the secret of Hu Linglong, Yun Sheng's heart was still heavy. She did not know if Goofing would still be around the next time she saw him. "Dearest Master," Bobo looked at Yunsheng from the side with a worried face. She had known Master for so long, and Master rarely revealed such a depressed expression. "Thank you for your double monthly tickets." Chapter 1308. Looking at Yunsheng's sad appearance, Bobo also felt sad. Her master's character seemed cold, but in fact, she was cold on the outside and warm on the inside. Once she recognized someone, he would be her friend for life. She had to think of a way to comfort her master. "My dear master, don't be sad." Bobo promises that the silly boy will not die, because Bobo can feel that somewhere in the human world, there is still the path of the gods left behind from ancient times. As long as we settle the matter of the 8 wastelands and find the lost path of the gods, that silly boy will be saved. Bobo hesitated for a moment, but still couldn't help but open her mouth. "Bobo, is what you said true? You can feel the existence of the path of the gods?" Yunsheng suddenly raised her head. In the divine world, the worst life expectancy was 500 years. Once one became a demigod, one could live up to 1,000 years. When one became a god, one's lifespan was unlimited. In this way, Goofing could be saved. "My dear master, when did Bobo lie to you?" In fact, Bobo also said that this time, Bobo has a new divine skill. That divine skill is called Treasure Eye. Using Treasure Eye, Bobo can find divine tools, and even divine relics like the path of the gods in the human world. Bobo's eyes shone brightly. This special Treasure Eye special skill, Bobo was actually not particularly willing to talk about because its function was also very weak. Think about it, the human world was not the divine world. What path of the gods' divine tools? They were rarer than phoenix feathers and Chelan horns. The probability of finding them was comparable to 1 in a billion. Moreover, Bobo had just advanced and was not yet proficient in the new divine skill. She also considered this point and intended to tell Yunsheng after familiarizing herself with Treasure Eye and determining the location of the path of the gods to give her a surprise. This time, it was exposed early and Bobo was a little discouraged. She had a big mouth and couldn't keep a secret, but she just couldn't bear to see her master's depressed appearance. Bobo's words made Yunsheng suddenly happy. Bobo's progress these days was obvious to all. Coupled with the help of the faith statue, her cultivation must be growing day and night. Since the mortal realm still had the path of all gods, Yunsheng believed that within a few years, Popo would be able to find the exact location of the path of all gods. At that time, Goofing would be saved. I'll wait for your good news then. Right now, we should first return to the 8 Desolates continent and find the location of the divine level sorcery weapon. Then, we can expose Hu Linglong's true colors. Yunsheng heaved a sigh of relief. Bobo nodded and began to chant. In the blink of an eye, the two of them returned to Fengyu City. After Bobo transformed into his human form, his sense of direction was indeed much better. However, as soon as they returned to their original place, Yunsheng and Baby were stunned. The deity world's treasured ship was gone. Boss Peng, Little Ling Ying, and the others were also gone. In just half a day's time, there were several corpses lying on the ground where the ship was originally anchored. The surroundings were a mess. It was obvious that a battle had just taken place here. "Master, the situation is not right. Little Ling Ying and the others will be fine, right?" Bobo looked anxious. Yunsheng's beautiful eyes swept over. Fortunately, there were no people from her side among these corpses. She was slightly relieved. Obviously, the situation just now must have been very critical. So Boss Peng and the others drove the deity world's treasured ship and temporarily escaped. However, after seeing the appearance of those corpses, Yunsheng's brows furrowed tightly again. These corpses were all unfamiliar faces. They were not the divine soldiers and divine generals from the Celestial Fox Temple. It seemed that they were also not people from any of the Bakra orcs. Instead, they seemed to be people from other beast clans on the continent. Among these people, there were tiger people and some half-wolf people. Without exception, They were all very ferocious beast clans. Why did these people attack the deity world's treasured ship? Ha! A burst of gloomy laughter, like a ghost, suddenly appeared. Immediately after, dozens of shadows, among which were beasts and half-orcs, appeared from all directions and corners. These beast clans were not Bakra orcs. They were some other powerful beast clans that wandered around Udu. Other beast clans actually dared to barge into the Celestial Fox tribal nation without permission. If this was in the past, it would be an extremely daring thing to do. In the Eight Wastelands continent, the Bakra orcs were undoubtedly the noblest beast clans. Just like the nobles of the human race, the other beast clans had been respectful to the Bakra orcs in the past thousands of years. However, as the Celestial Fox tribal nation was declining day by day, the governance of the surrounding areas, especially the poorer cities, was getting lax. Even some of the stronger beast clans dared to enter the capital city of the Celestial Fox tribal nation. The beast clan army in front of them, which was a mix of beast clans and half-orcs, was one of them. 10 feet away from Yunsheng and Bobo was a burly werewolf. He had silver-gray skin, and there was a row of steel-like gray hair on his back and spine. This person's hands and feet had nails like iron claws, and his pair of gray eyes were sinister. He looked indescribably ferocious. Demon Wolf Clan of Hell. Yunsheng had a photographic memory. When she was in Songdu, she had obtained some information about the beast clans of the Eight Wastelands continent from Crane. She remembered that she had seen this clan before. It was the most powerful beast clan of the Wolf Clan. They were good at appearing at night, and they were the most feared assassins in the Eight Wastelands continent. It was said that the claws of the Demon Wolf Clan of Hell were comparable to sacred weapons. Even the Black Chelan tribe and the Behemoth Giants, who had always had amazing defense, had a headache when facing them. However, after Yunsheng came to the Eight Wastelands continent, she had never interacted with the Demon Wolf Clan of Hell. Why would they want to kill them? However, Yunsheng soon had an answer to her question. Abandoned. God. The most burly demon wolf of hell lowered his head and growled a few times with the other demon wolves beside him. The Demon Wolf Clan of Hell was a very reclusive beast clan. They disdained to interact with humans, so their language skills were poor. They only knew how to communicate in the Wolf Clan's language. However, after Yunsheng received the beast language inheritance from Celestial Fox, she had become proficient in all the beast clan languages of the Eight Wastelands continent. From the conversation of the demon wolves, she could roughly understand what was going on. The leader of the demon wolves was called Man Luo, and he was the current chief of the Demon Wolf Clan of Hell. They had received a secret report from somewhere, saying that the abandoned god of the god realm had appeared in the outskirts of Udu. When they rushed to the outskirts, they had a fierce battle with Boss Feather Rock on the God Realm's treasure ship. In the end, Boss Feather Rock and the others were no match for the abandoned god and could only rely on the speed of the treasure ship to escape. Just as the demon wolves of hell were furious, they sharply smelled the aura of the God Realm nearby. Only then did they come back to outflank them. Man Luo just didn't know which of the two women in front of him was the real abandoned god. This person can understand our language? Man Luo quickly realized that Yunsheng could actually understand their language. Previously, I had made Abandoned God green. Thank you for everyone's reminder. Big Fu Zi, whose brain was stuck, bowed and apologized. Chapter 1309. I am the candidate saintess of the Celestial Fox tribal nation, Yunsheng. Demon wolves of hell. How dare you commit murder in the underworld? Yunsheng's lips moved as she skillfully spat out the language of the demon wolf tribe. Previously, Yunsheng was still regretting that she had somehow obtained some beast language inheritance from Hurulin's beast language ring, causing her to be unable to learn the more useful prophecy. However, from the looks of it now, beast language was still somewhat useful. Celestial Fox, Saina's candidate? After learning of Yunsheng's identity, Man Luo was also shocked. He had also heard that the seven-tailed celestial fox of the Celestial Fox tribe was in Udu. Ordinary celestial fox, demon wolves of hell, and Man Luo probably wouldn't care about them. However, the seven-tailed celestial fox was a celestial fox saintess candidate. This identity was somewhat taboo for the demon wolves of hell and Manluo. However, he didn't expect that the saintess from whose city, who was comfortable in the celestial fox temple, would actually sleep outdoors in the wilderness. You know beast language, so you are the true celestial fox saintess. Although Manluo was a demon wolf, he was much smarter than the ignorant commoners in Fengyu City. He didn't suspect Yunsheng's identity. Since Yunsheng's identity had been confirmed, then the woman beside her must be the abandoned god. After confirming Bo Bo's identity, the group of demon wolves of hell looked at Bo Bo in unison. Their gazes were as if they had seen a delicious prey. Bo Bo, I'm afraid your identity has been exposed. Yunsheng had already sensed that something was amiss. These people's target was indeed Bo Bo. The demon wolves of hell were indeed not ordinary beasts. Yunsheng could feel a very strong energy from their bodies. Furthermore, the deeper the night, the stronger the energy waves were. These people were vicious to the extreme, all of them desperados. Compared to the three Peng brothers from before, they were not willing to yield. Along the way, the reason why Yunsheng had been so careful and low-key was to prevent the identity of abandoned god Bo Bo from being exposed. She did not expect that Hu Linglong and the others would use this opportunity to steal the identity of Celestial Fox's saintess candidate. You're right. Your accomplices have already been chased away by us. I advise you to obediently accept your death. Seeing that Yunsheng and Bo Bo were just two people, Manluo was even more fearless. Even though she was the abandoned god, she was still a god that had yet to mature. Even an ordinary beast could kill such a god. You want to win with fewer people? There was no fear in Yunsheng's laughter. On the contrary, there was a trace of gentleness. When Manluo heard this, he couldn't understand Yunsheng's intentions. Bang! Without another word, Bo Bo's pink figure suddenly disappeared. In the blink of an eye, the two demon wolf warriors standing on either side of Manluo shot out like a violent storm. The tyrannical demon wolf warriors spat out blood from their mouths. Their sternum made a terrible sound as they were swept to the ground like fallen leaves in autumn. When the two landed, there were two huge holes in the ground. It was clear how terrifying the force that had been applied to them was. Manluo's vision blurred. Bo Bo had already returned to her original position. She clenched her fists and deliberately made crackling sounds. Her pretty face was full of smiles. Are you really wolves? I thought you were tofu. How did you break with a touch? Bo Bo's strange strength was very shocking. Her speed was also very fast. The demon wolves of hell, who had thought that the abandoned god's strength was weak, turned pale when they saw this scene. Looking at Popo's ruthlessness, Hell demon wolf barbarian Luo revealed a somewhat callous smile. He wasn't scared by Bo Bo. His body slightly bent like a half-bent bow, and his sharp wolf claws suddenly clawed out. A wave of biting cold dough chi formed on his claws, and two balls of light like the moon formed on his claws. The silver moon rose slowly and turned into two balls of light. When the balls of light appeared, it was accompanied by bursts of wolf howls. Like a thunderstorm, two balls of lightning flashed on Manluo's palms. Die! Manluo roared. The two balls of light rushed towards Bo Bo Rumble. The balls of light exploded in midair, setting off a terrifying explosive force. Bo Bo's expression changed greatly. She threw out the divine sickle in her hand. The divine sickle collided with the two balls of lightning flashes and was sent flying. The divine weapon was damaged. Bo Bo's throat heated up, and there was a fishy sweetness surging up. Bo Bo, come back. He's not someone you can deal with. Yunsheng was horrified. She looked at the sky. It was already night. At night, the demon wolf's strength would increase greatly. This battle couldn't be dragged on. Otherwise, it would be even more disadvantageous for them. Manluo suddenly looked up to the sky and roared. Countless silver-gray rays of light burst out from his body. In the sky, the gray fighting chi gathered together. A flying hell wolf appeared in the sky. Yunsheng protected Bo Bo behind her. Her expression was cold. Magic power quickly condensed into two magic wings behind her back. She leaped into the sky. Yun Sheng rose into the sky. Her eyes were sharp. Her throat rolled, and a loud roar came from her throat. That roar, if one listened carefully, was like the roar of a beast king. It was rumbling like thunder. When the hell wolf on the ground heard it, he felt a piercing pain in his ears. The blood in his body was surging. In the sky, Manluo was also surprised. He didn't expect the opponent to have such momentum. Yun Sheng was a different person from before. The magic scepter in her hand was raised in the air. Countless dark magic power gathered around her. The clouds in the sky rushed in crazily. The sky looked like it was going to collapse. Yun Sheng's five-colored magic soul quickly changed color. It turned into a dark magic soul. Demon God Transformation, First Level. Dark Heavenly Thorn. The dark magic power in the sky condensed into heavenly thorns that were as thick as an arm. The speed of the heavenly thorns was too fast to be described with words. When the heavenly thorns tore through the sky, there seemed to be countless ghosts dancing in the sky. Boom! Manluo's body was hit by the heavenly thorns. Like a moth on fire, he fell down. Hellwolf, Manluo was killed. Around dawn, the city gate of Fengyu City opened. The sleepy city guards opened the city gate. Drip, drip, drip. Something fell from the city gate. The city guard raised his hand. It was bright red. He looked up. Ah! The tranquility of Fengyu City in the morning was broken. Soon, the news spread throughout the entire Fengyu City. When the god General under Hu Linglong arrived, the corpse on the city gate had already been moved down. It was a hideous wolf corpse. A sharp arrow pierced through the wolf's chest. From the fur, it wasn't an ordinary wolf. It was a hell wolf that had committed many evil deeds in the Yudu region. It's Manluo, the chief of the hell wolf tribe. When the people in Fengyu City saw the wolf corpse, they cheered in joy. Chapter 13:10. Hell Demon Wolves were a very ferocious beast clan in this area, especially their demon wolf clan leader, Manluo, who was cold-blooded and ferocious. He usually didn't commit crimes nearby. Unexpectedly, he was shot to death by an arrow. God General Fan Zhun's gaze suddenly turned cold. The leader of Hell Demon Wolf Clan was one of the few relatively powerful beast clan leaders who had received the news that he had released earlier. He had been killed. It went without saying who did it. Unexpectedly, that Yun Sheng and abandoned god Bobo were much more powerful than he had imagined. Everyone, there's no need to panic. Manluo has always committed crimes, and the Sanus has always wanted to kill him. Unexpectedly, before she could do anything, he had already suffered the retribution he deserved. Therefore, those who disrespect the Sanus will not be able to escape death in the end. Fanjin was indeed someone who had seen big scenes. He shook his voice and announced to the people. This Fanjin was also quick-witted. His ambiguous words made the people immediately think that this evil wolf, Manluo, was killed by the celestial fox Saintus. So what if they killed Manluo? He could use this opportunity to build up Hu Linglong's prestige in Fengyu City. Whoosh! A cold arrow shot out from nowhere. It hit the city gate squarely. The arrowhead sunk several inches deep into the city gate. The people who were still in heated discussion immediately quietened down. There was also a piece of paper on that cold arrow. There were a few words written on the paper. The outcome of the impostor. Hiss, someone drew in a cold breath. Everyone knew that the celestial fox Saintus, who had been clearing out bandits and devil beasts in various parts of Yudu, was said to have extraordinary archery skills. When she killed devil beasts, she used an arrow to kill them. Although the one in the Celestial Fox Temple had extraordinary medical skills, she seemed to have never used an arrow before. In addition to that piece of paper, the people couldn't help but reveal suspicious looks when they compared it with the tragic death of Manluo. Fanjin's expression was also very ugly. The feeling of being shot in the head wasn't good. In the end, the matter of Manluo being killed was forcefully suppressed by the Celestial Fox Temple. But the next day, something even stranger happened. Once again, at the city gates, they discovered the corpse of another magical beast clan leader. This time, it was the clan leader of the Blazing Tiger clan. The third day, the fourth day, all the way until the fifth day, the corpses of the magical beast patriarchs who had committed crimes in the vicinity would appear on the city gates almost every day. Without exception, they were all killed by arrows. The same note, the same way of death. Trash. All of you are just there for show. Spread the word and let the other beasts take action. Naturally, someone would take care of that bitch Yun Sheng. Now, that's how it's done. When Hu Linglong saw the same 5 slips of paper, she was so angry that her face turned pale. She pointed at the noses of the divine soldiers and divine generals and cursed loudly. Because of this incident, the number of people who came to the Celestial Fox Shrine to pay their respects had decreased significantly. The amount of faith power she could gather was also decreasing. Hu Linglong had a guilty conscience. She felt that the Celestial Fox people were looking at her strangely. All of this was because of Yun Sheng. That woman actually used underhanded means when she couldn't do it openly. Saintess, we've already investigated everywhere, but they don't have a fixed residence. When we attacked and killed those clan leaders, they also moved from one place to the other. We can't find them at all. The Divine General also looked very unlucky. In short, you're all trash. Fortunately, I've already persevered for so many days. After tomorrow, I'll have collected enough faith power. Once this matter is over, you can go and kill that bitch. Hu Linglong was annoyed. She only needed 7 days and 7 nights to collect enough faith power for the Statue of Faith. Her mission would be considered complete. When she returned to Hu capital, both Yu Sheng and Yun Sheng would be defeated by her. Hu Linglong rejoiced in her heart. Divine General Fan Zhun also sneered when he saw this. This stupid woman is still dreaming of being the saintess of the Heavenly Fox tribe. She probably doesn't know that she is about to die. However, no matter what, they had to wait until tomorrow. Once the deadline of 7 days and 7 nights was over, there was no need for the real or fake Yun Sheng to stay. In the outskirts of Fengyu City, a treasure ship was traveling at a low altitude. When the nearby beasts saw the ship, they acted as if they had seen something terrifying and scattered in an uproar. Master, kill whoever comes. The magical beast clan leaders who came to play with us recently are so scared that they're hiding far away. Bobo looked at the scattered beasts and complained with a pout. Ever since that day, when Barbarian Luo was killed, Master had consecutively challenged a few powerful magical beast clans nearby. Yun Sheng's intention was very simple. Since Bobo's identity had been exposed, it was better for her to find the enemy herself than to run around and hide from the enemy's pursuit. Yun Sheng listed out the magical beast clan leaders who were about as powerful as Barbarian Luo and brought Boss Pengyu and the others to find them one by one. Initially, they coveted the abandoned god. Later on, they were terror-stricken. All the magical beast clan leaders who were slightly powerful nearby were all killed by Yun Sheng. Without a leader, the magical beast clan fell into a state of disunity. Needless to say, they came to look for the abandoned god. Bobo, our leisurely days are coming to an end. Have you forgotten that if we don't expose Hu Linglong's conspiracy in a few days' time, Hu Linglong will be escorted back to Hu capital by those divine soldiers and divine generals tomorrow night? Yun Sheng still had a serious expression on her face. Hu Linglong was well protected by those divine soldiers and divine generals of unknown origins. She didn't have the slightest opportunity to find the whereabouts of the god-level sorcery weapon. If this continued, things would not be good. Master, look at what those people are doing. Little Ying saw dozens of magical beast clan members in ragged clothes. They were pushing a wheelbarrow in the direction of Yu City. On the wheelbarrow lay a severely ill child. They seemed to be from other magical beast clans. They are from the Hell Demon Wolf clan. Bobo also saw those magical beast clans. But the strange thing was that those magical beast clans were heading in the direction of Fengyu City. Generally speaking, the magical beast clan would never enter the capital of the Celestial Fox tribe without any special circumstances. The Bakra orcs were xenophobic. This wasn't something that happened overnight. Moreover, The Hell Demon Wolf clan was a unique and independent magical beast clan. Why would they enter the territory of the Celestial Fox tribe so brazenly? It seems like they're going to seek medical treatment. Let's follow them and take a look. Yunsheng only glanced at the magical beast clan child from afar. There was a strange look in her eyes. If she wasn't wrong, that magical beast clan child should have that kind of illness. But she didn't know if Hu Linglong, who had a god-level sorcery weapon, could cure that child's illness this time. You're tuning into the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.